Okay, everybody, welcome to this Super Sunday show. Welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. Welcome to Tony's World. Welcome to Ray's World. And pull up a chair. You're all welcome here. It is the Super Sunday show. Listen, I've been tweeting throughout this game. Maybe you saw some of that, Tony. There was a certain point in this game that I felt Arsenal were not getting the decisions. We were 2-1 up. And if you go back and watch it, after about 50 minutes, 53 minutes, 55 minutes, Anthony Taylor is letting a lot of things go. And I'm going to tell you, credit to the boys, credit to this team. With injuries that we had, we're able to put Saka out there and Timber out there. Timber falling prone to cramp at the end of the day. Liverpool were listless. Liverpool were bad. And Arsenal made them bad. This was the all-conquering Liverpool under the slot machine. Well, we broke the slot machine today, and Liverpool were horrible. Now, Anthony Taylor turned the tide in favor of Liverpool, combined with a back four at the end of the day, which was Partey at right back, Ben White, and Kivior as your centre-back partnership, and Miles Lewis-Skelly, who played really well. But at the end of the day, this Liverpool team could not beat Arsenal. With all of our injuries at the back and all of that might that Liverpool boast in their forward, Salah was horrible today despite the goal. He got a tap in at the end of the day. And because Saka doing Salah things, Salah scored a goal against us last season at Anfield that because Saka scored against Liverpool after 10 minutes. Huge credit to the lads, huge credit to the team for keeping going. And we had a 2-1 lead up until the 10 minutes from the end. And this is on Anthony Taylor, and this is on referee manipulation of the game. Simply
Right.
turning the tide, Tony. Simply turning the tide by allowing things to happen, allowing physicality to happen. And at the end, the goal scored by Kai Havertz off the post and Jesus kicking it in. Slabazai never challenged for the ball. He put his body down in a position. He was never challenging for the ball. That ball was there to be won, and an Arsenal player won. That is not a foul. But despite that, a 2-2 draw, Liverpool could not beat us on our own patch and they had the best chance in over 2 years to do that, Tony.
Um, I thought it was a pretty even game. You had the three goals there on set pieces. Neither attack really did much except for Saka there. Start of the game. You weren't seeing us go forward that much. A lot of it was Martinelli. Martinelli would get a ball and basically do nothing with it. He would just dribble it around for a while, then he would lose it. He kept doing it. And Ray, 20, 25 years ago, how many times is that whistle being blown? Probably none at all. It's a physical game, went on. I think would change a little bit of momentum shift when Liverpool brought on their three players. We did nothing to
No,
counter that. Yeah,
yeah.
it changed.
Listen, I'll agree with you there, but the momentum shift happened 10 or 15 minutes before Liverpool brought on their three players. Anthony Taylor started giving benevolent decisions to Liverpool.
Oh, Ray.
The tide turned against us, and it was only going from left to right for me on my screen that I was looking at. So this is definitely referee benevolence, referee manipulation, allowing Liverpool to come into the game and get a foothold in the second half. But let Stan get in with his thoughts first. Welcome, Stan.
Hi, morning.
Hey. I'm going to be, listen, when you end up 2-2 and you can see the goal like that, you can either be pissed off about it or you can be a little bit upbeat and say they still didn't beat us. We were the better team on the day, and but for a couple of slip ups here and there defensively, we win that game.
I just, when it was sat at 2-1,
Mm-hmm.
I was just sat there for ages, constantly saying out loud, "We need that third goal to put this to bed, because if it stays at 2-1, they're going to get one back. They will get one back."
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't see that we had a. I just didn't. To me, we just didn't look like being able to kill the game off.
This was a referee control game.
I kind of felt like the 2 goals that we scored, that's all we had. And we didn't have enough to keep them out. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were your thoughts right at the end? Because Russ is saying, "I feel sick." The ref disallowing our third goal, and for what Arsenal are ref differently from other sides.
Yeah, I don't know why it was disallowed. I didn't catch the reason for it. Why it was disallowed.
It was pretty easy that it was a hip check all the way through the back of the net. It was definitely a foul on our side. He hip checked. He ended up in the net. Come on, right?
Who did he hip check? The foul was given on the edge of the box, Tony. It wasn't anywhere near the goal line.
He hit him in the back of the net. It was before, right?
It was before in the header. Szoboszlai does not compete, does not jump for the ball. He arches his back. He bends over like Harry Kane used to back into Gabriel all of the time. And for me, that's very, very soft. And that's referee manipulation. The referee has manipulated the results today. For much of the second half, he's given all of the decisions. You watch it back. I invite any and all of you to watch it back and see the referee giving decision after decision or non-decision in favor of Liverpool going in that direction.
It sounds to me, Ray, that you're beginning to believe that Arsenal could be being over-reffed this season.
I am starting to believe, or under-reffed when you don't get a free kick. There's a ton of times Arsenal players were going down
at the very end of the game. That was a corner, and it was given as a goal kick. And
right at
Gabriel Jesus got a yellow card for his remonstrations.
You can't question them.
Clearly. Even the commentator, even Graham Lasso said that was a very poor decision, and that's from Graham Lasso. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't tell me, and I'll bring Gary in a moment. You can't tell me that a referee and 2 assistant referees on the line and the VAR can't discern that that's not a corner for Arsenal. You know, Gary, your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, well, we realize that now that Saka is the man, right?
Yes,
Saka plays. Yeah. We have that's our best odds to win, no matter who else isn't playing. Right, we're down Saliba, we're down Erdogan, and Saka plays. He does. And everybody's like, is he going to bring it today? He did, right? He opened up his account, since he got back, and started the game off where we wanted. He played really well. After going up 2-1, once again going into half against one of our rivals for the title, we let it go back in. I kind of feel like I would have liked to have seen our subs come in a lot sooner to maybe get that third goal and seal this thing, as opposed to wait for them to kind of get a little bit of a luck, and they got it, right? I mean, I kind of felt like we needed to get that third goal in this game. We're not going to beat City and Liverpool sitting on a 1-goal lead with a half to play. So if I'm going to be picky, that's what I'm going to be picky about, is that I would have liked to see some subs come in to seal this thing, to get if that's Nweri, if that's Jesus, just giving them a minute, like 5 minutes at the end of a half, when you probably could have given them 20, 30 minutes maybe, because around 60 minutes I saw people calling for subs. The game was not going where we wanted. Even if we were getting opportunities, we just needed something fresh, something different, something new to go in there and maybe finish this game off. So I kind of was hoping for that. The goal that we gave up, they weren't getting those chances, for most of the game. It just, this the same way, that City scored on us late. Those corners, just they weren't getting those type of bounces and stuff like that. So I felt like we needed to, instead of trying to hold on to a one goal lead, we needed to extend it and close the door. But in reality, uh, I think we played, a lot. Everybody can see now where we stand. And I think I think some people, more people are saying, Arsenal, lost the points as opposed to City was able to, come away with it the way they did. So, and we're down two of our top players. They're down two of theirs, but I think ours would have made a bigger difference in this game. The missing players that we had. Than theirs, based on how we were playing. So I feel like, yeah, no. The thing is, you see a game like today, and you go, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't lose any games outside of these. You shouldn't drop points in any other game for the rest of the season. All right, unless when we go on the road to Liverpool, maybe, right? We're going to go on the road to City. Is it City on the road? No, City was
We'll be at home with City.
We'll be at home at City, so we need to we need to win pretty much both of those games. I feel to make up for some of the mistakes we had earlier with the draws that we took and the loss to Bournemouth. So, but I think we've got that if we're going to be healthy going into those games. So yeah, no, we should be happy with what we saw. Like I said, I would have liked to have seen subs come in a lot sooner to maybe try to close the door on this thing. I think that's kind of where Arteta got being patient and being more defensive minded. Could have we could have gotten all 3 points again. We just didn't have, nothing new. Nothing was going to change with the players on the pitch. I would have liked to have seen Nweri come on and get more minutes and maybe open things up a little bit.
What were your thoughts, Gary, on the disallowed goal right at the end?
I saw that goal go in. I was upset. We were driving back, so I was in the car watching it, and I was just snapping my fingers because I usually will scream or something like that. I was like, and then like that's just a terrible way for a goal to be chalked off. I'm sorry. We're talking about two of the top teams in the league, and you're going to call a goal off on something like that. I think you don't want to be part of the game, but you know what? You're part of the game. You're part of the game.
Yeah.
Right. He wanted to be part of the game. He was part of the game. There's nothing in any of that contact that you see every day that should have called off any of that goal. Are you kidding me? It wasn't like somebody was flying. Somebody ran into another guy and he flew off. I mean, that's just some contact with ball in the air where it's a 50-50. Like late in that, I would say in those last 10 minutes of the game, any 50-50 call that we didn't get. All right.
Exactly.
It went Liverpool's way. Like the ball goes out, it goes off their knee, and it's a goal kick. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's
Liverpool fans.
So I like I said, I think the 50-50 calls late didn't go our way, but I still feel like we needed to actually put our foot on the gas and try to get that third goal before when they were making their subs. I'm like, Arteta, you does this all the time, right? The game is changing. Or it's staying stagnant, whichever one you want to take. You have to do something different. You have subs for a reason. That's why you use your subs late in games to change things up or to get some fresh legs out there to do the things that you want to do. And he didn't do it. And we just kind of sat there ultimately waiting for them to get a goal. And they did. You can't do that. When we have answers on the bench, we have Jesus, we have Nweri, come on.
If you're gonna,
that's gonna be my complaint if there is one.
If you're gonna take Saka off at 85 at that point, then you may as well leave him on for the rest of the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's one of the best players. If you're going to take him off, they should have done it earlier. Should have given those players more time. But if you're going to take Saka off, no point taking him off in the 85th minute when you're looking for a goal. He's got another 5 minutes in him. Surely he's got another 5 minutes in him, and you never know. He could pop up with something. So you should have done it earlier.
Same with Martinelli as well. Taking both of your wingers who had their fullbacks on toast, and their wingers were not covering.
Yeah, but Martinelli didn't do anything but dribble the ball around and
He
Yeah,
offered
but
his best.
you're not giving
Dribble it
the
out of
problem
bounds.
is you're not giving your team an opportunity to change the game
An
when
outlet.
you make subs late in the game with 5 minutes left, with less than 10 minutes left in the 90 minutes. You're not giving any of your players you're bringing on an opportunity to do something with it when they can do something with it. Right? That's the problem. That's the problem with the subs being late. Is to say you're not. What's the you're not there's what it was the question you're answering with that late sub. You know what I mean? You give them, you have them
And
come in around the 60, 70 mark because between 60 and 70 minutes, Liverpool was getting a little bit more because that's when they made their subs, right? As soon as they made those subs, you saw what happened, right? The game kind of changed,
there's
right?
no,
Fresh legs were in there.
not
Yeah.
only the subs, the referee. You go back and watch that. The referee was letting the game flow, let's say, in the favor of Liverpool. We were not getting any free kicks that were going to relieve pressure from us. He continually told our players to get up when their players were fouling in the first half as well. And but let's get through a couple of things here. BX said one in the actual, you know what, robbed in a last minute corner on top of other dodgy no calls. Were a better side than them, and they know it. And Liverpool fans can be happy they took a draw today
Like I
because
said, we
they got away.
we proved that you know what, and you know what, and once again, Arteta is proved. There should be no chat from any Arteta hate right now, right? No,
You think,
there's
right?
no. What are you going to say? What 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 are you going to say?
There's channels out there if you
Outside of
want
his
that. There's
outside of his
channels out there, but not this
outside of
one.
his player management in terms of maybe switching the game up a little bit or sooner, right? Which
Yeah.
for me is a confidence thing. If you don't have any confidence in Nweri after 10 games, then you should have never brought him on. And if you can't gain that from, he's not going to gain it if you don't play him. All I see is good things from that kid. Jesus looked,
Yeah.
coming in. Jesus maybe coming in late makes a difference, but I think Jesus. Who cares about defense at that point? We need to be trying to get that second goal, that third goal. So, I think that Jesus can do that for us. But now Arteta did. He came up with once he got it. You saw what happened when he's got his players good. We know when we don't have them, what we're all about. But he needed, like, at some point he needed to not sit. He kind of sat in his hands and let it play out. And I just wanted him to maybe be a little bit more bold and go for the closeout. Close out this game at home in front of your fans. Third goal was going to do it. All right.
Stephen,
We can't hold on to a goal lead in 45 minutes. We've shown it now. All right. We can barely hold on to a goal lead with 15 minutes. We didn't do that in the Brighton game, right? So for me, we need to go get that 2-goal cushion
yeah.
when we can,
Um,
and we can do that. We're a good enough team to do that.
Stephen
Havertz deserved a goal in this one, like with the way we should have played. He should have been able to get a goal somehow, and I don't feel like he got enough opportunities. Right?
yeah.
All right. So yeah.
Steven says, sorry guys, he's too mad at the corrupt PGMOL to stay and watch the show. That's where I'm going with this as well. That was an official corruption on a major scale, not called. 3 yellows on Diaz for delay of game, a red card on Virgil for kicking Havertz earlier in the game. And listen, I'm all about letting the game flow, but then do it fairly and consistently for both sides. A penalty not called as well. Break it down, BX. Russ is in the house. I feel sick. The ref disallowing our third goal for what? Arsenal ref differently from other sides. Well, yeah, definitely. If Gary's talking about a third goal, we have to score the cleanest goal now ever.
Exactly.
That can be beyond
When that
reproach.
last goal went in, my missus was like, "Oh yeah," and I didn't, because I'm thinking to myself, it's not clean enough. They're going to look at it unless we're scoring screamers from outside of the
There's
box.
no way. There's
doubt.
no way the referee
They're
saw
looking
all
at
that
everything, man.
contact. No way.
They're looking
And
at
it's not even.
As soon as
That's
I
not
saw
a
how
foul.
sloppy it was, Gary, I'm like, they're looking at that. They are going to pick it apart. I mean, they didn't want to give Marino's goal, did they? They really
They
didn't
were
want
trying their hardest to find out how in the world can we get that red line that we see right now to turn. Sorry, that green line that we see right now to turn red. They were trying their hardest, and it's like you can't see Moreno. So guess what that means? He's in the mix. You can't see him. right?
Yeah.
From the angles they were showing, you can't see him. So
Virgil
obviously,
needs to wear black
They
boots,
didn't want to
or
give it, man.
you know, he
no,
needs
green
to
green
wear
boots. You
shiny
mean,
boots.
right? Maybe he's wearing green boots.
Dave said we were
It,
poor
it
today,
doesn't
but he'll
matter
take
'cause-
it. Thanks for being here,
Hold
Dave.
on, Ray.
No, so
Listen,
think about it. It's the second
were
game
you
we played
poor,
against.
or
We played
was
against City.
Arsenal poor today, Dave?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, we played
I
against
think
City. We played
maybe
against.
Arsenal were better.
No, think
You know
about it.
what
We
I mean?
played City. We played Liverpool, and both times I think they're happy to get the draw, or they're happy to get the point. You know,
Oh
and
yeah,
that could be the difference, right? And that's 4 points right there. Think about what that 4 points means, right?
and not only for
That
us,
puts
but
us like 3
taking it
points
off
ahead of
of
them. I
them.
think if you figure out, if you take the difference, right?
Yeah, and it would take points away from them as well. If
That's what I'm
those
saying. It's like a 3-point swing just in
double
those two
jeopardy.
games, and we
Yeah.
had leads with less than 10 minutes to go in both games. All right, you're supposed to, you got it, and that's where I think Arteta needs to like finish. Like that. How does it go? Finish him. All right.
Finish it off. Finish it off.
That's what Arteta. No, like in the video game when they say finish
Yes,
him.
Finish
right?
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
why not?
Yeah, that's what Arteta needs to
Before
have
they
in
can
the back of his head when he
get the strength
sees.
back.
Guess what? We've got control of this game. We've got a goal lead. How about we just finish him? Right?
Stephen said,
Come back.
Stephen O'Toole said, if you can have foreign players, why not refs? They don't have to be able to speak English because they don't give interviews afterwards. They are beyond reproach. There is no interviews for referees. Howard Webb's got it all. He's got it all. He'll cover with Michael Owen next week. Evening,
Dermot
everyone.
Gallagher.
For a defensive team, we can't seem to defend. Well, it's a little bit difficult if your back four, your regular back four, is very unsettled. You got a midfielder in there, you got a backup, and you got a right back playing centre back. And
No
Timber,
mega legs, no Saliba.
you roll Timber out.
I mean?
He's got cramp at the end of the game. Big up Timber. He had a great game. Listen, I'm here to congratulate the boys. They put in a lot of effort. Arsenal played really, really well. Should have closed out the game. Should have gotten the 3 points. And that means from here on in we got to pick it up a bit, to pick up the pace and get more points. Dugout Football Channel, it'll take a point today. Absolutely you will, Doug, because you were staring at the feet right in the face. Your team was playing horribly because you were playing Arsenal. We were poor, but managed to get the draw. Very fortunate to not lose on that disallowed goal. At least you're calling it fairly. That was very, 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 I'll keep going, very, very, very soft.
I agree with Russ very much. Gary kept talking about bring on Jesus. Jesus can't do shit.
No, you didn't hear what I said.
He
we're
can't
gonna
do
make-
anything. He can't. I know.
What do you mean?
Gary.
He did everything he could to try to get that ball to get at least a corner out of it, right? And we got called against. That's not his fault. It's the referees, right?
He's
gonna be
not
he's gonna
good
be in the
enough,
mix.
Gary.
Yeah,
You
he's
can't
not.
miss that.
He's not the
Good
same
enough.
guy. But you needed to do something different, and where I was
He's
going to
not
go with
good
anyways.
enough.
So
He's not
something
good
Man
enough.
different
United
needs
have
to
half the
change.
points we have.
It's not going to happen if you
Okay.
just stay pat. What
Man
you got?
United have half the points we have. I don't know what relevance that has to Liverpool Arsenal game. Trossard only started moving his ass once Jesus, Kai, and Warrenari were on together. His pressing is shy. I disagree with that. I think Trossard
I
had a very
thought
good game.
Trossard was the best player of the game probably for us.
Yeah.
Minus Saka's moment of brilliance there.
I won't go that far.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know about that. I don't think I even thought of what Trossard was about in that game.
He was about Gravenberg lost him numerous times.
And what
So
happened? What happened after that? What happened after Gavin Birch got lost?
We scored. We went 2-1 up. It was a tactical game.
The 2-1 up. So you mean the free kick? He created the free kick.
Yes, he created
With-
forward momentum.
This
You'd have to
game
rewatch it,
when I
Gary.
look at this game, not one person really stood out a lot, like you're saying. Like defensively, they didn't get much. So for me, I think our back line held up really well. The fact that they got that first goal, that shouldn't happen. And we've seen time and time again our attackers kind of not doing what they needed to do on the corners. You got to mark your man all the way through the play. We didn't do that, and he was able to put that ball on target, and that can't happen. All right. So
Or Ty just need to stay there at the near post. That's fucking difficult.
well,
You're
however we're playing, we're
6'3",
always
just stand
running with
there.
him. He's got to stay with him, man. You can't let him go like that. You can't let people get a free run at the ball coming in. I mean, that's how we score, right? We get the free run. If you look at it, Moreno, there's nobody around him except for red shirts, so can't let that happen either. And they did, and we scored on it. So it's fair play both ways. Yeah.
So yeah, listen, it was a exhilarating game, an enjoyable game. But I think we have to face the facts that we put a team that with very little that could come on from the bench to affect the game. In my opinion, we had one Airy and you had Miles Lewis Skelly as the two dynamic players that could come onto the field. You're asking Raheem Sterling or Jesus to come on and change a game. One Airy is the only real substitute going forward.
That's what
That
I
would have been
thought.
able-
I
Well,
didn't
the
think
reason
there was
why you
any
don't have him
options
where is
there.
because you don't play him, so you don't know. What's the
I
point of
just
having him
mentioned you
around?
have
He's
him.
more. I think he would give us more if we just played him. So
Yeah, but you're asking Arteta to make changes to go and win the game
yeah, he needs
with
to
the bench that
like
we had.
like after this is the second game now against the top three team
Mhm.
that we don't go out and finish them off, right? And we don't do that because we're happy to hold on to the 1-goal lead.
But
We
what
don't-
happened in the first game at Man City? We have a man down, sent off. You have to
Yeah.
take context
Well,
into things, Gary,
you needed to have
as well.
somebody like with that, with the speed to go out there, and once in a while, like people talked about it. If that's Sterling maybe out there, maybe you have an opportunity and make something out of nothing, right? Because you holding on to that lead for 45 minutes is going to be tough without really giving yourself a chance to score one of those goals. So you need to have somebody
You-
like a Sterling maybe to be able to do that, and we didn't do that either. So.
Did you feel, Gary, in the second half that the referee was fair?
I
Wait,
think it's part. Yeah, like it was more apparent for me right at the end there especially when we scored. But I kind of felt like we weren't trying to get that third goal. That was my thing. I think we were content to stay pat. And I think when they made their subs, they made 3 subs, and
Yeah.
we didn't make any subs. I was like, you're asking.
But I'm
You're
also
you're at,
saying
they're trying to change this game, and you don't want to go in there and maybe finish them off. All right, so that's where I go with this. We're not going to be able to just sit back and hold on to everything we got. We're going to have to go out there and take it.
Ray,
Right?
put up the last comment.
Yeah.
which one, Gary? This one from Tom?
Yeah, I think we need to take off the last 2 words now.
No, you know what, Tony? When anybody puts sense in a sentence with you, that is definitely like where
I just feel
the world is over. I talk more
with-
sense than you.
with the
Yeah.
injuries,
Just
I
have
just
to
feel
more
the
scary.
injuries with the injuries we had, Stan, with the injuries we had, I just feel we didn't have a lot of leeway to bring new players on and affect the game. Whereas Liverpool they didn't have as many injuries as we did and could bring on players such as Gary's talking about.
I don't think we.
And
I
where
don't
he's
think
not
we ever
injured,
had that.
Jesus is not injured. Sterling is not injured. So try again with this. We don't have players we can put on because of injuries. We do have players we can
is
put on.
Jesus better than Gakpo?
What is that
Gary.
supposed to mean? I don't know. We're trying to close out
Is
a game.
Jesus better than Gakpo?
I don't care. I'm more thinking about my team. All right.
I'm just saying we didn't have enough on the bench. Like
You
Liverpool did.
just didn't use them. Like I don't get it. What are you
I'll
talking
bring
about?
you
We had
up.
everybody. Both teams had 11. It wasn't like we were down a man.
We had one guy to pick from there, and he's 17 years old.
Yeah, and Miles Lewis Kelly. Stan, what do you
But
think?
I thought Skelly
Tony.
kind of.
Go ahead,
The
Tony,
only
and
reason why Skelly's getting to play as much is because it's the injuries. And if he's talented enough to come in for injuries, he's talented enough to come on and maybe help for like 30 minutes in a game. Right? If you think He's good enough to come in under pressure in a game like that. He's played in all the tough games we've played, right? Our youngsters have come in and played against in the North London Derby, right? And where he come on for that, he looked fine. Skelly now has come on and played in the next two big games we've had, right? Against City, he's had to come on and help out, even on a yellow, come in. Now at home, injury. He's good enough to play. I don't know what more do you need to see on his CV. If you think he's good enough to come in and play against City, and then come in and play against Liverpool, I think the man's answered some of the questions. Come on, stop with this.
All right.
And then Nweri, I think, will answer those same questions if you give him a chance.
Tony, I'm going to give you 1 minute for rebuttal, then I'm going to go to Stan.
I think he's good enough, but once he came on, he started drifting forward and giving more space back there, because that's what we did do the first half. That the fullbacks just staying disciplined. They weren't doing what Arteta always does with them, is throwing them down the pitch. Partey stayed as a fullback. Timber stayed back there. He's usually disciplined and doesn't go forward too much, but that's what you had. You had him staying in place, and once he came on, I don't know if Arteta told him to start drifting forward, but he started drifting forward, so you're having space back there on the left side. And I think Liverpool kind of seen that.
Okay.
It's not that he did anything wrong, but I think I don't know if Arteta told him to go forward, or if that's just his inclination was to go forward.
If he did
Stan,
something wrong, you think he would have got a second chance and a third chance to play? I mean, come on.
All right. Let's go to Stan. He doesn't have the moment to speak in a second. Go ahead. It's been a minute, Stan.
All right.
It's been a minute.
Hi, Stan.
So, what do you want to talk about?
So, Stan, what were your thoughts on the bench? Let's talk about benches real quick. Liverpool had more options, in my opinion, my humble opinion, than Arsenal had. And do you think Arteta should have gone to the bench sooner to make changes?
The one thing that I learned about the substitutions is how far down the pecking order Alexander Zinchenko is, because he's going to Miles Lewis Skelly ahead of Zinchenko in a couple of a couple of matches now that he's had that option, and he's gone to the young lad over Zinchenko. So that tells me quite a lot that Alexander Zinchenko is probably not long for this world when it comes to playing for Arsenal. But he did need to make those changes a lot earlier. The game was already playing out, and as I said, if you're going to take back Saka off at 85 minutes, at that point you may as well leave him on for another 5 minutes, because he's probably one of the best creative players that we have and can come up with something. So too little, too late. You know, we're just missing that cutting edge. We're missing something. You know, I've been talking for ages about when are we going to see an Arsenal player get at least a brace in the game? Still not happening. I'm still waiting for it. Still waiting to see a player get a brace. You know.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be today with Havertz.
That's what when we scored those 2 goals. I literally, I've mentioned this before. I thought that's all we've got. We've only got 2 goals. We haven't. I don't see where the third is going to come now. That's it. So they're either going to, they're going to pull one back, or somehow we're going to have to really defend hard to keep them out. And it was so difficult to have that with a makeshift defense that we ended up playing with. I don't know how long Gabriel Megalegs is going to be out for, which is quite worrying. At least we don't have to back.
It looks like the season by where he kept grabbing the middle of his knee.
Looked like the season.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this was a physical game, and Liverpool always seemed to push the physicality aspect of it. There was a lot of questionable incidents going on, not only in the second half, but more in the first half as well. Diaz and McAllister. Robertson was on toast most of the game, and he was quite happy to leave McAllister to do the dirty work for him. And McAllister took a yellow card for Robertson on Bukayo Saka in the middle of the game. Virgil van Dijk kicking out at Havertz. it was a lot going on there that the referee was content to let go. Let's say. I do wonder if Arsenal had been doing these kind of things, how he would have adjudicated their fouls.
Only one team's got the dark arts. That's it.
Apparently, I mean, it's like this dark arts had just been invented this season. Like,
it's quite funny you mentioned that, though, because just earlier in the week I was watching them on Sky talking about Bernardo Silva, where he was standing in front of the goalkeeper for a bit, when they scored a goal.
Wolves.
And the way they described that, they were saying that this is actually very clever by Bernardo. They were hailing what he was doing as being clever. And it just made me chuckle, because when it's Arsenal, it's dark arts. Yet when it's somebody else, it's actually being lauded as extremely clever.
Mm-hmm.
So that just goes to show you where our standing is with the wider world.
The way the media take that and run with it. You know what I mean? They take, and it's framed in a different way. Arsenal are in a box where they're the only ones that are doing all of the bad things, the dark arts. But when other teams are doing this, it's clever. You know what I mean? David Raya getting a very quick yellow card today for supposedly for time wasting.
Time wasting. Again, we can't do that, right? You see so many times when Martinez is very good at doing that move that goalkeepers do, where he gets the ball and it comes into right into your chest, and then you go down onto the ground with your legs spread eagle, and then you lie there for a few seconds. He's very good at doing that. Yeah, and then never get booked for it. But if we do anything like that, by the letter of the law, we will be punished, because it's by the letter of the law. Because we're under so much scrutiny, because they write letters about us. That's it. In a nutshell, that is it. That's it.
I think that's a problem, though, is that he sits there and holds it, because he did do that about 15 minutes earlier. He held the ball really long. Then later,
why are you hating on your own team?
I'm not hating.
Yeah, you are. You are.
I'm commenting
you sound
on what
like
I see.
You sound like a Liverpool fan. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm calling on what I see.
No, I don't want to hear it. No.
And when Skelly came on, you're just
trying to be on the other side of the fence. Your team is getting scapegoated, and you're okay with it. All right? They are cheating you, Tony, and you are okay with it. No, I'm not. We're not happy with it. Why are you happy with them cheating us, right? We keep talking about cheaters. Everybody's like, oh, you can't win the league because there's cheaters at the top of the table. Everybody says, yeah, cheaters. Then when it happens to us, you're like, oh, no, it's all right. No, they're cheating us. They're cheating us.
Inconsistency, Gary. It's everywhere.
Yeah, consistency means we don't get cheated, and we're getting cheated, Tony.
How's it getting cheated when it happens to all the teams?
No, it doesn't happen to all the teams. No, how many yellows do you see for time wasting? Like that.
Scrutiny.
Right? How many times have you seen a bang play like that goal? And guess what? Oh, you know what? I think Arsenal player touched a Liverpool player. So guess what? We're going to call it off. We're not going to go to VAR and see if it really was some serious contact or anything. No, we're just going to call it off.
If you can see, if you enjoy the Gary and Tony dynamic, you can see more of it tomorrow evening also, where they will continue this conversation, hopefully.
Where Gary talks less.
I'd like to see that.
Gladly, Gary talks less.
make sure you bring that to light tomorrow evening, Tony, when you're on Gary's show as well. Stan, you were mentioning Miles Lewis-Skelly.
I was just saying that when he came on, his very first action was a throw-in. And he was taking quite a long time of it. And I was literally saying out loud, quick, throw that ball, because they're going to do you for time wasting. That's where we are. We don't have any leeway, right? We don't have any leeway. We have to really make sure that we know what the rules are and act within them.
He didn't have anybody to throw it to.
Exactly, Tony. He's waiting for a player to mark themselves to try to get free.
A lot of times our players are running behind and playing behind the defense. You're like, and that's the I think that's more like how Arteta has them lined up. They never running. How often do you see them running to the person throwing the ball in to at least get open? When guess what? After the first look, there's nobody there except for the opponents. That's all we see when we're trying to throw the ball in is the opponents, because they're either hiding or running away.
They covered
I
up.
didn't see anybody within 20 yards of him forever. He just
And then you're gonna blame him for why did he take so long? See, why are you
I
blaming? You're trying to blame Miles Lewis Skelly when in reality it's the
I
way the
didn't
team is
say a
being
fucking
asked
thing about
to
him
play.
doing anything
Yeah,
wrong,
you
Gary.
did. You're a
No, I
hater.
didn't.
You're a hater.
No, I didn't, Gary.
Tony, Stan, are we out of the title race in October? For me, we can go around the house as well, but for me, we are not out of the title race in October. I think it was said perfectly at the outset of the game. It's not an eliminator, but it is an indicator. Are we out, Stan?
Well, the January transfer window notwithstanding, where we are right now, I don't think that we've got enough for a title challenge. And I also think that with all of this over reffing that we're experiencing, that's also going to hurt our championship bid as well. So I'm looking at fourth or third place finish, unfortunately, and I hate that. But I just don't feel that we've got enough to handle it.
Yeah.
I think it's really to depend what we find out probably on Wednesday is the extent of Gabriel's injury when the swelling goes away.
Yeah. Saliba will come back. He's only out. He was only out for that one game, but whatever that injury from Gabriel, it's going to be a huge concern moving forward in the season. And it's going to mean extended games for Kivior, Calafiori when he's back, and Timber as well, and Miles Lewis Kelly. So, let's bring Miles Lewis Kelly into this and see what we've got. The next game is against Preston. We got to start blooding some of these young players and playing them. Tony, are we out of the title race in October?
Like I said, a part of it depends on Gabriel's injury. I'm like Stan. We don't have the answers on the bench, so we have to go out. We have to do something in January. We can't be idle like Arteta likes to be in January. Got to go out and do something. But you've seen it. We don't have options on the bench. Jesus is an option. The only one on there is the 17-year-old, and Arteta doesn't seem to trust him enough. He trusts Skelly, but he doesn't seem to trust.
And of course, we're talking about a striker, right? We're talking about a striker.
More of a winger, I would say, than
Gary, are we still in this title race?
Yep. We still got to play these teams twice, so that's the 3 points right there, right? That just puts us within 2 points of, trying to make up 2 points on Liverpool. So, yeah. So yeah, we are, and let me finish. No, we keep showing that it doesn't matter how many players we're going to lose, we still have an opportunity to win every game we've played. All right. Outside of that Bournemouth game, which is it a blip or not? I think it's a blip. Hopefully, everybody can see that was a blip. Right? We're going to keep ourselves in most games. We're going to, defensively, we're strong enough to throw out anybody, and even if it looks ugly. Personally, right now, we're going to have to win ugly games until we get our full team together. And we've seen Moreno come in; he looked really good today. I think the more minutes he gets, the better he'll look.
He looked
right?
Good.
He looked better than he has in the past, right? Yeah. Yeah, he's looked better than he has in the past games. He's just getting better every time he gets minutes, I think. And I believe so. Yeah. And the same could happen for Nweri if he gets minutes too. Miles Lewis Skelly, I think they're going to need minutes, like especially the young guys, right? We've seen this with our players. They need a little bit of time to get acclimated to the things that they need to do, right? And we talked about it. If you're playing on the offensive side, you have to do you have defensive responsibilities. So yeah, as the players pick that up, and hopefully the January window, we do go out there and make a splash, because we need to. It's not that we need to just answer some questions. We need to push ourselves over the line. You know what I mean? I don't want to get a little better. I want us to get a lot better with anybody we bring in. So
this was supposed to be, these couple of games of league games were supposed to be easier. Playing Bournemouth away from home, they're a tricky team. We did not perform well. And there was a number of performances last season. Villa twice, West Ham at home, Fulham away, Newcastle away. There was about 5 or 6 performances that were not of the required standard last season. We had one of those at Bournemouth. I think we played really well today, and we did not get the result. Some of that is down to ourselves not being clinical enough. Some of it is down to maybe not bringing enough
But
off the bench.
isn't that another repeating story about the clinical part of it? We do so
Yeah.
much good stuff on the pitch, but I just feel that we're missing that cutting edge thing, you know, that person that's able to get braces and then in the next game get another goal, you know, and
Yeah.
have those kinds of stats. We just
So-
seem to be missing that. We can't keep putting it all onto Saka's shoulders.
So
Do you know what I mean?
something that a lot of maybe some other Arsenal YouTube channels will talk about is questioning the ambition of the club. And January, if we're 5-6 points behind the leaders come January, then you have to question the ambition of the club as well. If we don't go out and we know the players we're talking about, right? We're talking about maybe Gyökeres or Osman or Isak, if possible. That we would be questioning the ambition of the club if we're 5 or 6 points behind. With a gap in our squad that we know is there in terms of, as Stan has said, we'll get goals, but we won't get braces. We won't get a player scoring a hat trick. And as Gary has said, we're not scoring enough goals. And Stan has said, we're not scoring enough goals to separate ourselves from a referee who wants to manipulate the flow of the game. That's what I'm saying. He manipulated the flow of the game. Watch it back from minute 53 onwards. Liverpool were getting all of the decisions, all of the questionable decisions.
When the referee waved off that third goal, he didn't just wave it off and was like, no. There was sheer panic on his face. Do you not notice it? When the camera went to him, his face was in eye. It was all right, mate.
Because every player was shouting at him. Liverpool players wanted it chalked off for a free out. Arsenal players wanted the goal to stand. And it was a very, very soft free that you're going to see in other games. This is the problem as an Arsenal fan. We are seeing ourselves get decisions that other teams routinely every weekend and every game. It's not called. Luis Diaz kicked the ball away, delaying the game.
Because as you said, as that moment happened, it might have looked soft, but as that moment happened, in his mind, he's thinking, got to remember the directive about Arsenal. We got that letter. We had that meeting. We can't be seen to be letting them get away with things. That we can't be seen to them be pulling the wool over our eyes. Whistle goes to mouth. There you go. That's what's happening. That is exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last. I mean, does it last for a season and then it goes back to normal, or is it always going to be like this now? I mean, when does it end? You know, how long is it? How long are we in this situation, in this sin bin form with them? I mean, it's ridiculous.
We know about the composition of the referees in the Premier League, that the concentration of where they live, majority, 95% of the referees live in the north, and there is a north versus south thing in the Premier League, and there is a favoritism towards Manchester teams, and maybe Liverpool as well, being from the north, and Arsenal just don't seem to get the decisions that other teams get anymore. Rudy asked, what do we think about today? Point gained or 2 dropped? It's definitely 2 points dropped, in my opinion.
We're the home team as well. You'd never think it was some of the way in the second half, right? It's unbelievable. It's just.
I think we invite that. Though,
oh my gosh, what is your problem?
No.
What is your problem, Tony?
We were playing defense.
Tony, what is your what? Tony, come on, dude.
We weren't attacking much.
It's our fault. This is why all this stuff is happening. It's our fault. We're inviting it. That's what you're trying to say.
All right, Tony,
All right.
the ref.
You mean because we wear a
Something-
red shirt with a cannon on it? Is
When
that
you
what you
have
mean?
all these
We're
There we go.
asking for it.
throw-ins that Ben White
There we
does
go.
all these false three throw-ins. He does it all the time. He does the bullshit in the back of a net that eventually is gonna get called because it's fucking deliberate what he does back there when he's setting back there on the free kicks. And on the offsides, we're gonna have those go against us because everybody, all 5, 6 of our players are in an offside position when we start a corner kick. So that's why the fucking kick gets looked at. Because at first they kept looking at Havertz's foot, which was the wrong fucking player. It was Mourinho's that foot was dead even. If you look at it from the back, it looked like his foot was offside.
Tony, all of the feet were behind Van Dijk. All of the feet.
They were even if you look from behind, and you could.
So
see
what does that
something.
mean? Were they offsides or not, Tony?
I
they
don't know.
offsides?
I guess we'll find out.
Why would you bring it up if you don't think you think they were on offsides? Is that what you think? Because they were even.
I said it invites the eye because everybody's offsides when you start the free kick.
What is that supposed to mean? I don't know. What?
No, he's right. Correct.
Every Arsenal player is offside.
Before the ball is kicked, there's a lot of players that are already standing in offside positions. They mentioned that as well. So it means that they are going to go back and take a look to make sure that when the ball is kicked, they've moved out of that position.
Did you notice?
So
for me, that's no different than if they're running towards them. All right, it's the same situation. They're both scenarios, though, right?
Did you see that, Stan? The new set piece routine where 4 players were together at the back, and then they roll forward to their markers and slot back in front of their markers, so they couldn't be picked up. It was a very well worked free kick in that respect. Brownie's in the house. He'll give us, I'm sure, he'll give us an unbiased and sensible view of what happened today. Tony,
he's from the south, so we'll see what he has to say.
Tony, they start in an offside position before the free kick because it invites the possibility of dragging defenders out of position. Yeah, and defenders have.
I know why they do it, but I'm saying it invites the referee's eyes when you do that. That's all I'm saying.
For me, we dropped 2 points. I could see that second goal coming when Salah was in position, and all Nunes had to do was pick him out. I was really annoyed that we let the lead slip. I'm not going to lie, really disappointed in that. But
Ray, you never answered the question on where you think we're going to finish.
Oh, did somebody ask me that?
They asked all of us, and everybody answered except for Ray.
I didn't answer any question about where is that earlier.
Yeah, you're too busy just chattering.
No, the question
nobody asked that question.
Correct. That was the question right there. Are we out of the title race? No,
that doesn't mean what you said, Tony.
Yeah, Tony manipulation.
Yeah. You just want. Yeah, nah, not today. Not today,
not
Oklahoma
Tony.
man.
Not happening. All right, Gary. Listen. Overall, I thought we played really well. We had their fullbacks on toast, and we saw it in the within 10 minutes. Ben White finding a way to connect with Saka again, Gary, for the first goal.
Yeah, everybody says that that is the combo that works for us, right? And that's why Saka does well, is when Ben White and him are on the same sides. Voila, we're able to get that kind of play, and Saka getting that much space. I want more of that from him. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
He love it more. He needs to be getting the brace and the hat trick of GA in a game. That's what we're gonna need. Yeah.
That was very
the same way that the Salah scores that that tying goal for them. We need Saka to maybe close out the game for us. Then, if that's how it's going to be, we're going to have to lean on him a little bit more He's gonna have to do a little bit more. Yes, he's coming
Would
off
you like?
the screen,
Yeah.
you know. But
Would
we'll
you
get,
like to see Salah do that a little bit more? Like, would you like to see Saka do that a little bit more, like Salah did for the second goal?
yeah, he needs to
Come into
close.
the center of the goal and be available for that pass.
Yeah. But I mean, that's only going to happen if Ben White overlaps, right? Because that's kind of what happened there. Ben White, the player overlapped there, and that's how Salah's able to walk into the middle with nobody there.
Yeah,
I mean, whoever it was that was on him, I think it was Miles
Nunes.
Lewis Skelly, kind of got turned, and Salah was gone. So yeah, I'm not going to say it's all on the back line, but that ball making it all the way there. I mean, we need to put a little bit more pressure on it from the midfield there somehow. That ball can't just come in like that. Open
Nunes,
us up
wasn't it?
pretty quickly,
Nunes.
right? Yeah, Nunes comes across, right? So that's where you have the little switch there, and we
Mhm.
got twisted, and I think Gabriel was in between in no man's land. Basically, either he comes out and he closes down before the ball gets off from Nunes, or
You
he
mean
sits
Ben
back
White?
and he steps.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it was Gabriel who.
He was off. He was injured.
Not Gabriel. Yeah. Ben White. I guess it's Ben White or Kirior. One of they had to make either intercept that pass to Salah, because they got to see Salah making that cut coming towards them. Right? Who's the most dangerous? Nunes on the outside or Salah cutting through the middle? Right? If those are your two options, which one are you going to go
Pick your
after?
poison. Yeah.
Right? You go after Salah. Let Nunes see if he can go near post on Raya. Right? And he chose nothing because he just kind of stood there and we got nothing. So that's something you're gonna learn. That's why he comes off the bench, right?
Mm.
But that's what happened in that scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. First goal. Bukayo Saka shows where Ben White needs to play the ball down the line and over the head of Andy Robertson, who is a weak link in their team, and they were definitely rocking. Liverpool were rocking at that point. Virgil van Dijk doesn't offer cover, and Bukayo Saka does what Mo Salah has been doing for years, and he did to us up at Anfield when he cut inside Zinchenko last season. But a fantastic goal, Stan, from our point of view.
Yeah, very good cutback by Saka. And then to get it and then to just curl it in. Very good. I mean, it just shows you how much we rely on him. He's back in the team and there he is, in the very sort of like opening part of the game doing what Saka does.
There was no goalkeeper. They could talk about Alisson being injured, but Alisson would not have been able to save that. There was no keeper in the land that would have been able to save that, in my opinion.
Okay. Is Gary to argue that he should have kicked it to the wide part of a goal since he does that
every time we've missed to the wide side? I said, why aren't we kicking it to the near post, silly man? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I've been saying we were screaming about this the last two times we've had opportunities to score, and we've gone wide both times when we should have gone near post, Tony.
50 goals. 50 goals for
you're trying me
Bukayo
today.
Saka. He hit the half century as well, and 50 goals for Bukayo Saka. And I think I said it on Thursday or last Sunday. We really rely on Bukayo Saka, and he was being held back for this game. It worked out okay in Europe. We got through Shakhtar without Bukayo Saka, but we really needed him today. He answered the call.
Often it's going long ball either, right? When Ben White hit that pass, I was like, "Oh, playing long ball now, are we?"
Yeah.
And when Gabriel did that too,
we got to do a little bit more of that once in a while. We got to hit it over the heads of people, and Bukayo Saka can use his pace. Martinelli can use his pace in that situation. That was a magical ball from Benny White as well, and just stepping out of that right centre back position and almost into his right back
good vision
area. And the connection they have, you see, Bukayo Saka was pointing, pop it over his head right that way, and I'll take care of the rest of it. You know what I mean? These are the kind of goals that we can and should score. And when Stan said, I thought we'd only have 2 in the tank today. Well, you were right, Stan, but yeah, it was a great goal from Bukayo Saka. And we've relied on him for years now. He's been our talisman for years. on 14 minutes. On 14 minutes, Mikel Merino slips, and Mo Salah has shot outside, 20 yards out. So we were well on top at that stage, and that's all Salah was gonna get if we had continued to defend in that way, just shots from outside the box. And then Tony, talk about the goal we conceded against Virgil van Dijk. So Partey, listen, Tony, we talked about this earlier. We had injuries, so Thomas Partey, we don't really like it. We don't like to see it, but he's an emergency right back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I still think you probably start TVR and put White out to his normal position because
Yeah, there was a lot of
I,
ways to look at this. I was talking about Kivior coming in and
because
Partey playing in midfield.
you ended up with a back four that has never played together,
Hmm.
and it just
And that's when we concede the equalizer to Mo Salah. Back four that never played together. They get crossed over with the movement of the forward players. But Partey concedes the corner, and we're usually better defensively. Gary, we're usually better defensively than that on corners.
Yeah, we definitely need to be.
It was poor.
But like I said, I think it's not that we were we were pretty stout for much of the game, right? They didn't get much on us, but that's where you need to be able to on the other side maybe. I think we play our offense is where we press from the front. Our offense is gotta have to win games for us as well. Our defense is gonna keep
Yep.
teams at bay for most of games, but our offense also has to bring something to seal a game as well. And the only way they do that is if they score 2 more goals than the opponent. So for me, yes, we've been able to hold on to games with our defense. Ray has saved many a win for us, right? At
Mhm.
some point, our offense is going to have to close out a game. That's where I'm going with this. Like, yes, our defense was a little bit not so good late in the game, but our offense has to also close out a game as well, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more on the offense right now to help out the defense that's been playing well for most of the season, right? You
Yeah.
can't. We're talking about teams that like the City and Liverpool games. Those are the ones where our offense needed to find something out of the offense to at least to close out the game. So
Yeah, if you're looking at this our lineup with our back five being not familiar, let's say, then you have the forward players stand. They've got to go and win the game for you as well. And against Liverpool, and if you concede badly on a corner, then you're open to what they did to us at the end of the day with that equalizer. So poor corner defending. Partey seemed to end up on Virgil van Dijk, and Gabriel is kind of not marking anyone.
And we've got a lack of variety that Liverpool don't have. When you look at Liverpool's bench and you look at who they start in attack, they always have more variety on their bench and they can always mix it about. And I just think in that respect, we seem a little bit stale and reliant on the same set of players, because when we see Gabriel Jesus warming up and ready to come on, we don't think, oh, right, okay, yeah, we're going to get a goal here. We just think, for me, it's very underwhelming. When I see him coming on now, I thought underwhelmed. I'm like, wow, that's where we are in this game, where we're having to bring on this guy who, for me,
if you look at his stand, he has those wide out eyebrows, and they're just kind of like slanted in like a constant worried position. If you look at his face,
he does look constantly worried and whiny.
Yeah,
a whiny look to him. Yeah. The thing that Gabriel Jesus is doing, he's saving minutes for other players. He's not taking them for himself. That's the way I would verbalize it. He's saving other players minutes. He's not taking them as his own. He's not coming on and turning the game around for us. The last time he did that was against Bayern Munich.
And that's like what the starts he's getting in the cup games. It's like those need to be Noari starts, because he doesn't offer anything. And why we're on Gabriel is I think we need to go to Martinelli because I think he's very ineffective there as that left midfield position as we're in this 4-4-2 formation that we
I
switched to.
don't agree with that.
I don't think he
agree
did
with
anything. I thought
He was very threatening, I thought, Tony.
Probably our most
he
threatening
didn't
player.
do anything past that though.
No, I mean,
He-
there was a couple of times where you'd like him to have more control of the ball when he's driving at Trent and Gravenberg, whoever was covering for him. You would like to have more control, get it, but he did get into the box a few times. A couple of times he checked back when you really wanted him to go at Konate and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he shied away from that a little bit. But he offered a threat throughout the game, Tony.
and I just seem like every time he gets the ball, it's a go out of the back for
You're talking about Martinelli?
Martinelli.
yeah.
No, I guess I didn't see that.
Couple of
I don't feel
first
that way.
half. Couple of shots in the first half, a little bit more composure. You need to test the goalkeeper and not blaze it over the bar.
But if we take him out of the team, we've got no one else that offers that sort of a threat. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the defensive stuff that he does to help out is very good. But you know, we want more out of him production wise, as in assists and goals, and that seems to be a little bit streaky at the moment. But he causes so much problems for the opposition's defense when he does get the ball out wide. There's a lot of times when the ball found him and he was in so much space. It was panic stations. It just wishes that his final ball and his decision making was a little bit better.
Yeah, it's same old thing with Martinelli. He needs to maybe have just a little bit more composure. But
we don't
or
have anyone
in
with
my
that.
eyes, guess what? When
Do
you're
that.
in those type of situations, how about you just try to score? Screw it. Because I think when he's trying to do all this extra stuff like
he
thinking,
tried that.
no, he's not shooting.
He shot in the first half.
No, he needs
He
to
was
shoot
shooting in the
more.
first-
Is what I think. He needs to shoot
But
more.
they're going over the bar.
The one shot that he shot over the bar was from distance. That I saw, but not when he's inside the box. I haven't seen him.
But that's the
over
efficiency
the bar.
we're talking about, Gary. We need
but like
efficiency.
I'm talking about when he's in the box and he's attacking one-on-one. He beats his man across the corner. He should be trying to score. When he decides to think about what to do next, then it's all over.
He's part of the inefficiency we talk about Arsenal going forward. He's not efficient.
There's a difference. If you watch what Saka did, that was decisive. The player knew what he was going to do, and he did.
That's why I'm trying to say he just needs to put his head down and shoot and score.
Do it,
not
though.
like think about
That's
what
not
to do
working
next.
either.
How long
I need to see it more because he's going to put himself in that situation. He'll
You've
score
seen it.
more. We'll get more
We've
corners
seen
out of
this
it,
year
as
after
opposed to what
year.
we get now. Is I think
That's
a wasted opportunity.
Gary, you have seen it, Gary.
And a
If he's going to
striker
play,
in the
then
winner.
I need to see it more. Unless you guys keep telling me there's nobody else, so
I'll
I
tell
need to
you
see
how
more
it
of it.
goes.
There's nobody else right
It goes
now.
over the bar. It goes wide.
You know what? If he's going to play, he needs to do more. That's it.
And
or else
he needs to work the
we don't play
goalkeeper.
him anymore.
Yeah, he needs to work the goalkeeper as well.
But
How you do that if
Felix-
you don't take the shot with conviction? He
Get it
doesn't
on
do
target.
that. That's why he needs to shoot more. He's not thinking about shooting. He's thinking about all the other stuff Arteta has got in his head. That's why I'm saying, like he needs to like you put the blinders on the horse and you tell him just go straight. Don't
Other
worry about what's
players
going
can-
on around him. He
Other
needs to do
players
that.
can take instruction and work with it. I don't know why
When he's going
Martinelli's
like
so
that, I
special.
want him to score. I bet you give him another coach, a Martinelli. I bet you they get more out of him because I think they will. Once he gets into that final third, there should be like no thought process about what to do next. Oh, wait a second, how many people are there? What do I do? No, you're scoring. You're putting that ball into the box at the goalkeeper. He's going to have to make a save to stop me.
He's got to boost Arsenal's efficiency. We're talking about being inefficient, and Martinelli's a major part of that.
He needs to learn from Trossard that you time your runs. He's got the speed, but he never uses it. He should be open for through balls all the time, but he never is.
Maybe he's not asked to do that. Maybe once again, maybe this is on Arteta. Maybe he's not being asked to do that.
Brownie said, we do know this, Brownie. Stan reminds us a lot. You wouldn't believe that Jesus is Arsenal's second highest paid player.
Yeah, but that means absolutely nothing. We don't care about how much they're getting paid. We really
No,
don't,
we don't.
anymore.
But you should be getting value. You care about value
Yeah,
for
but
money?
that's one. Once again, we like to waste money once in a while, and we wasted it, right?
Yes.
And you know what? I think we cannot also then, but we also have to remember that he doesn't. If there's no Olympics or World Cup, maybe we continue to have that same guy. He never came back from the World Cup, right? The same way,
No.
all right? So for me, that injury basically might have been like, there's always that thing that tilts the scales, and then you never get it back. That might be the injury that's basically cut his
Yeah.
career, basically,
Yeah.
and you never know when that's going to happen. So I don't think that. I think what we saw before that time is what we were expecting to get for the next 2-3 years, right? And we didn't, and we
Yeah.
haven't. He's not come back.
Michael, we're going to hold the man in the match just for a few more minutes, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Tony?
I think if you look at him, I think we're doing what we did with Beller, and you just keep persisting with somebody that doesn't give you what they used to give you, because as soon as Beller and speed was gone, he didn't do anything. And Jesus is very, very ineffective. It's a waste of a substitution, in my point. And it's just, you can't wait until the 8th minute to make your substitutions. You've seen that Liverpool had that initial injury when they made the triple substitution at 60 minutes, and it died off.
They had that.
Minutes.
Tony, you're right.
It died off kind of 15 minutes later, but they did have that. And I think
you're right, Tony. They had it. The referee also tilted the pitch for them a little bit as well.
But I think that's when you need to bring on Nowari, because he gives you that energy.
Yeah.
He gives you that push forward that you need.
Right. I want to see more of Ethan Nwaneri, as Gary said. He never disappoints when he comes on the field, and I didn't have much worry about Miles Lewis-Skelly either up against Mohamed Salah. So I felt
I just wonder. I haven't seen enough of Nwaneri to see if he can do both sides, but instead of coming on for Saka,
just let the kid play, Tony. Just let the kid play.
Maybe he needs to be coming on for Martinelli.
Russ said we didn't waste money on Jesus. He got us to where we are now. I mean, this is definitely a point. Champions League money, but we haven't moved past the point of his and Zinchenko's usefulness. They got us in Champions League in a way, right?
Does everybody think the injury had nothing to do with the reason why he doesn't play the same way? His pace is off. He is never going to be a clinical shooter. Right?
He started his career. He started his career with about 5 or 6 games where he was scoring. Yeah, and that was it. It ended after that.
What happened up to the point where he was injured? What happened? Where did he go?
Gary,
he got injured. He got injured.
Do you know what, Gary? He's another one of those players that doesn't play more than 25 games.
I don't.
I think
the point we're trying to get at is that what he brought to the table changed significantly after he got injured, and he hasn't got it back.
I think we're all agreed. Next summer, we're not disappointed if he's moving on somewhere.
We overpaid.
We're not disappointed. That's the situation.
We didn't overpay for him.
Yes, he did. He had 6 months left on his contract.
40 million.
Yeah.
51 million is what it was, right?
Well, euros if you want to boost it, I hope Arteta takes Preston seriously and doesn't throw it away. That's important, really. What's that?
So my say on Jesus. People say, he was never the same after the injury. I didn't rate him before the injury, personally. I didn't really rate him that much at Man City and the numbers. And he did play more than 28 games. He played 29, 34,
did not add up.
29. And his numbers have always, for me, when I knew that we were linked with him, I kind of like him as a player, but I thought to myself, he never seems to score enough. When they got rid of Aguero, I thought naturally he was the one that was going to step into that position, and it never really happened for him. And they were like trying to utilize him on the wing, which he did look like he was contributing off of the wing, but the numbers. And so when I thought that we were linked with him, I just thought to myself, we need something with a little bit more cutting edge. You know?
Yeah.
And that's always, for me, that's always been now what I've felt about him. In that first season with us, you know, that first season, I think it was it 11 goals, I think he scored. 26 games, he got 11 goals and 6 assists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought when he'd come, he would step out of the shadow of what held him back at Man City.
17 goal involvement, 26, which is not bad, you know. But you know, he's coming as a seasoned player. He's coming in his prime. He's not someone that has got potential to continually improve. That was his ceiling.
And I thought he would combine well with Martinelli and Jesus. Martinelli with the Brazilian connection, you know.
But they did until he got injured.
You're right. He did combine well with Martinelli.
Those two combined well because I think it was the Brighton game or the Leicester City game where you know, Jesus started the attack and then curled around and was in there and things were working fine. Like I said, I think at some point the injuries caught up and he's been out. And I'm blaming it on the injury. People can blame it on. I think we know what he is in terms of the player he is, but I think that injury basically that knocked him down another level. And yes, the team has moved on.
Stan, do you think both of those have reached their peak, Martinelli and Jesus?
Martinelli and
I don't know about Martinelli because, you know, Martinelli, you know, he's still at an age where he can improve, but I don't know where it goes for Gabriel Jesus. You know, and Alexander Zinchenko. As I said earlier, I mean, it's been a couple of games now where he's made a change at left back and he's gone for youth ahead of experience. He's gone
Zinchenko's below
ahead of Zinchenko. I think that tells you everything you need to know about Alexander Zinchenko. Somebody comes in and puts money down for him, they're going to accept it if it's a good enough bid.
Listen, he's a decent player. Don't play him at left back. Play him in midfield in a mid-table.
Yeah, that's the coach. That's Arteta. Arteta will not like. Once again, can you set your team up for success? Can you set your players up for success? And he won't do it, like because he, as you say, he's scared to put him in a left back role, right? But you're gonna put if he's on the bench, then you're hoping that means you're going to use him in certain situations.
Now, right now,
maybe that's the midfield, right? Sometimes we need to have that little extra something in the midfield. Why can't he do that? If he can't do that, then he shouldn't be in the squad, and then he's gone, right?
You know why he's on the bench? Because there's no one else. That's how short we are. There's no one else. If it wasn't name that we would have known.
He's the last. He is the last resort. You know, Miles Lewis, Scally, and Kivior and Timber would all have to be injured for Zinchenko to play, and left back. 19 minutes. So it's 1-1. 19 minutes in, McAllister fouls Saka. Saka is really torching Robertson at this point. Robertson's happy for him to wander in midfield, Gary, and McAllister has to foul Saka in that situation, drawing a yellow card. That's 32 minutes. But before that, on 19 minutes, we have another free kick routine where Mikel Mourinho really should have scored if he was able to sort his feet out.
We had a couple of opportunities where the ball got sorted out. Maybe, because I think Havertz also had an opportunity. He just couldn't get the ball out from his feet as well. So, yeah, and that's I always say you should be prepared to shoot no matter what. All right, the ball's going to come at you really fast. So, yeah, no, that one they showed that one. If he gets a tap on that one, he probably scores from where he was coming from. So.
Liverpool must have an issue in the center of their defense from free kicks.
No, they're fine. Let them play the way they have. Keep playing the way they have. They're good. There's nothing that needs to be improved.
We'll let other coaches
let's not help them out at all. Their defense was fine.
we'll let other coaches figure it out. But
I
there is
think
a
it's more.
weakness in the middle of that Liverpool defense from crosses,
I,
Tony.
I think it's more the midfield because I thought Kanate
It's a set piece,
did
Tony.
well. I
It's a
thought
set piece.
Kanate does well. Well, yeah.
It's a set piece, Tony. There's no dynamic play. It's literally across from a wide area. Mikel Mourinho gets on the end of it. We're 1-1, have an opportunity to go back in front after 2 minutes. But then finally, it does happen on halftime. A similar delivery. Diaz fouls again. I think this is one where he kicks the ball away, doesn't get cautioned for delaying the game because it's Liverpool and not Arsenal.
Yeah.
And
You had the announcer's comment about it. The inconsistency again, which
it's a running theme today.
Drop the fucking conspiracy theory. Watch any
It's not a
game.
conspiracy theory. You watch it again in the second half.
Watch any game, right? Any game. It doesn't matter what
No,
names, what
no,
colors
no,
you
no.
put out there.
Tony,
Their
so
inconsistency.
I'm gonna say
You see it in VAR.
league-
You see it in
the league is
McCall.
being manipulated. The league is being manipulated now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say
I feel
something.
like I've just come back to the beginning of the show.
Yeah, no, I was looking at they're
Stan's
showing
Right.
they're showing on Twitter the foul on Moreno by Kanate, and supposedly VAR checked it and said that Kanate won the ball. He never touched the ball
There's
at all.
nothing there.
No, he never touched the ball. He just
Yeah.
went through. He just went through Moreno essentially. So if VAR said he won the ball, then they're lying, or they can't see, or they just guessed, right? They probably just guessed, thinking that he won the ball. He never touched it. Like the replay shows, he never touched it. He went through Moreno, and if he touched it, it would have been with his butt when he was taking out Moreno, right? And that's right outside the goalie box, right?
Yep.
If
On
that's
the
not a
edge of the box.
penalty, then what is, you know?
Yeah.
It's as I say, it's going to be very difficult for us to win the league with this much scrutiny on us. It's so we've got other stuff to worry about, injuries and playing styles and all of the usual stuff, but we have this on top of it. It's just for me, it's just it's just too much.
Arsenal were 2-1 up when
much.
the referee started.
Do you honestly think that we're not going to get another red card this season? There's another red card coming.
Can we go 30 games? We went 8 games with 3 reds, so
at least 2 more times we're going to be back on here talking about some really iffy decisions.
But they decided, I believe they decided to do it in a different way. Don't send the player off. Well, let's start allowing Liverpool to flow the game in their way. Allow them to be a bit more physical. There was a lot of challenges on Havertz, challenges on Trossard and Saka that were allowed to just continue the flow of left to right. But listen, a great header from Mikel Mourinho, the man who came from Real Sociedad. Marino.
No, that's me. I'm saying. I guess I'm saying his name wrong.
There we go.
You know
Marino.
what? It's called a mumble. Deal with it. All right.
Let's call him Mikel.
Can I just say how refreshing and great Partey's performances have been, easily going under the radar, how good he's been.
Yeah, I mean, he did get taken, but he is going to get taken when he has to go one-on-one with an attacker. But all in all, he didn't create that much of an issue for us, right?
Well.
Right. So I mean, I'd rather him not play there, but as we know, Arteta doesn't trust anybody. And if he doesn't trust you, he's not going to play you. So there you go. And that's and if he doesn't trust you, then he should be replacing you, right? If you're that player that he won't put in there, right? Like Kirior should have probably got started this game based on what we know about the way it should work. He's not on that list. And if he's not on that list, then he gotta go, because we need players that once that injury happened, all right, next man up. And
he's on the same list, and Zinchenko can't play in midfield, so Kivior cannot play many minutes at the back.
And I really like to see Zinchenko now that we actually are playing this 4-4-2. Or if you look at a monitor at one time, Stan, did you see the little tablet Liverpool had that showed us being in a 4-4-1-1?
It's a formation, red versus yellow.
Did
Okay.
you see it though? It was
Yeah.
4-4-1-1.
A great header from Marino into the goal, and there was a
Very much,
VAR
yeah,
check, but I
very good.
always felt confident. Virgil van Dijk's foot was right there, keeping everybody on side. You know, I don't know why it
I thought
takes a
it was
long
very
time for
close,
Arsenal.
especially from a back angle.
So what? 2-1 up at halftime. Arsenal come out. There is a challenge with Gabriel and Darwin Núñez that he would succumb to on the 52nd minute, and so this is going to be an injury we're going to have to be watching. Tony knows that the medical report will be in on Wednesday. I don't know how you know that, Tony.
Because it takes 2 or 3 days for the knee swelling to go down enough to see if there's, let's say,
Tony's in the
big
WhatsApp
tear
group.
or not.
The medical team.
I
In the
think
WhatsApp group.
between my trips to the hospital and watching soccer and
Tony knows.
watching football, watching basketball, the swelling has to go down to see how bad the ligament is. If it's just a minor tear, big tear, medium tear.
Tony knows. AFC always, I think it's Craig. 2 points dropped. Game was in our hands. Liverpool were there for the taking. Arteta too slow to make subs. Arteta too defensive in the second half. So it's always Arteta, right? If you want to see that, it's always Arteta. If that's what you want to see, it's part of it.
We have to be able to make subs when that 60,
If that's all
70
you want to
minute.
see,
Well, that's
Mhm.
where what games get
Right,
changed when you sit there and when you come out of half and nothing changes, right, for 10, 15 minutes, and then you don't change it for another 10, 15 minutes. Guess what? The other teams don't, and when they make subs, you're gonna get screwed over, and that's what happened.
We
I
started
think
at half.
I think if this game is called fairly in the second half and Arsenal get their fair share of free kicks, it's a different game. We're talking about a different game today.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've
Our goal was
gone
allowed to
full.
stand.
I've gone fully on board
Well,
with
our goal was
manipulation.
allowed to stand. Or the third goal was
that?
allowed to stand.
Our goal was
Or the
allowed to
third goal
stand.
was allowed to stand.
Yeah.
Right? We put the ball in the back of the net for a third
Yeah.
time. It was chalked off.
Right.
Moreno, PK, who is it? Kai Havertz goal turned away, right?
Yeah.
Even an opportunity to take a corner late in the game, taken away, taken out of our hands, right?
Okay.
And then on top of that, then we have our own breaks that we did not actually take advantage of, right? So as we know, you're gonna have to just put the ball in the net yourself, all right? You're not gonna get any help. So that's where we actually will have to overcome all the adversity, which is whatever the refs are going to take away from us, right? So, I mean, we're going to have to do that. So we have to do a little bit extra than everybody else. We're going to have to put the ball in the net, no matter, and the referee will have no say on it.
Ref said no, Gary. Today the ref said no.
No, they said at least 3 times. They said no, and
Arsenal were getting nothing.
but we had
more.
opportunities to score, and we didn't put the ball in the net either. So,
You got 2 goals. That's all you're getting. Liverpool
no,
are
we
gonna.
got to get 3 is the magic number now. I'm gonna say it for
But
the
they
rest
got
of
to
the
be
season.
the cleanest goals, Gary.
No.
They gotta
3
be-
goals, and then I'll take the bet that we win every
But
one of those games.
They got to be 3 clean goals. It can't
No.
any
3
kind of
goals. Who cares about clean or anything? No. At the end of the day, it
ref
should say
do.
at least 3 for Arsenal. Ray, that's it. I don't care how they got in there, but give Arsenal 3 goals. I bet you we have more than not 3 points at the end of the day.
But
So
the referees gets to say, yeah. Tony.
I have a question, right?
Go ahead, Tony. Of course, we always listen to you.
Did Saliba's red
Only
card
choice.
cost us 5 points?
Did Saliba's red card cost us 5 points? No.
You don't think
No.
so?
No.
You don't think we could have used them?
It's a good question. I will commend you.
Once again, do
the
you
question.
want? Are we expecting all of our players to play all 38 games in
Yeah.
a season, plus all Champions League games, plus be ready to play on
Yeah,
in
but
every?
we
No. But you're asking for so the question is, should our players be expected to play every game? And if the answer is no, then there'll be games that he won't be in. He just forced his own break, basically, is all he's done. Right? He's taken a break off from a Premier League game. He'll be back. He'll continue to play.
But
right?
we've spent all this money on defense.
So that means we should have depth.
Yet we go to Skelly as an option.
Well, you know what? You play the better players. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes you pay for them.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who else was there?
Look at some of these teams playing these 17-year-olds. Are
Our
they going?
academy's
Are they
working.
going? Guess what? It costs me nothing for this player. Why am I going to play him? Oh, guess what? He's better than what I got. You play your better players. That's how it works.
And not
Right?
for
It's all
nothing.
about talent. If the talent is there, then you just play it.
Yeah.
Why does it matter how much you spent?
Not for nothing. An academy is not free. It's not free to develop players, Tony.
Yeah, but
You know?
Arteta's not used them up until this point.
No, but,
where he has to, because there's
Now-
no answers
Now
on
you
the bench.
changed. Last season you could say Arteta's never used them. Now you're saying he's never used them up until this point. See the difference?
Because he
We're
hasn't had to. He hasn't had to. All his injuries.
Yeah.
Look at the injuries we've got in our defence now. That's Tomiyasu that is out. Gabriel is out. We don't know for how long. Who else? Timber's gone out again. Calafiori.
Tomiyasu.
Yeah, I said him. That's 4.
Okay.
Saliba was out by a red card, but he's coming back. You know, it's not looking good for us.
So we've had a difficult start to the season, injuries as well, and we would have thought it would be in the first 6 games that would be the most difficult. We dropped points against Brighton, of course. We dropped points against City. There's a narrative behind those, in my opinion. The red cards. And when you take everything into context, combine it with this game, it's changed my mentality on what's actually happening out there against us. You know what I mean? I tweeted it today.
We could be seeing Thomas Partey start at right back again, because I think Ben White may have to stay in that centre back position, depending on what's happening with Gabriel. Right, he may have to partner with Saliba, which may mean that Thomas Partey may have to continue at right back, and maybe Lewis Skelly starts at left back, depending on how those injuries pan out. If Calafiori can't come back, and etc.
Yeah, if he starts against Preston, then you get an idea of how it's going to be when he's fatigued, right?
So
we know he plays in short spurts, but he'll play for 70, 80 minutes hopefully, and then you'll know whether or not you can depend on him, right? Because the only way they're going to get the confidence from Arteta is if they play the football, right?
Yeah.
We've seen I don't think Nweri has to do anything more in a cup match to say, look, I can do it if you give me the minutes, right? We expect to see it again, right? He'll hopefully start against Preston, and we'll hopefully see another 1 to 2 goal contributions from him.
So
right?
He got a brace, didn't he? He got a brace at Bolton, didn't he?
He got a brace for it, yeah. So, but we need to see at least 1 or 2 goals from him again.
Only one.
I'll address this one a little bit later. We'll address this one as well. Is there anything else to speak about, Gary, in today's game? We've covered all of the goals, right?
I think we've shown that we are still a team that can compete for the league, right?
Yeah.
I don't think many people, even with Saka coming in, people are more. I heard a lot of Liverpool fans say it doesn't matter if Saka is playing or not. We should be coming in to win this. They are down a couple of their stars, and once again they have Salah, all right. One of the top player on the pitch, all right.
Kept quiet by 10.
They have the best player on the pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they have the best player on the pitch, they would expect to, especially when other teams down a couple of players, especially when they're on that side of the pitch too, right? I mean, yes, Timber is much better than Zinchenko and whatnot, but I think we've shown that. Look, if we can keep 11 players on the pitch, we're going to get points. If we can be healthy, we're probably going to get all 3 points. So,
all right. So listen, for Craig, the title is over in October. Craig, listen again. I'm not going here to change your mind. If that's what you see, if you see it's all Arteta, if you see we're out of it in October, only What's the difference now? What's the gap? 5 points to
Yep.
City?
Yeah.
5 points to City. You know? City and Liverpool are going to play in early December. They play each other. We have difficult games coming up. We wanted 6 points, of course, from Bournemouth and Liverpool. It didn't happen. We have a ton of injuries. Those injuries will come back. We'll get those injuries back. Odegaard will be back in December. We have to get through November now. Look past Preston. We're going to talk about Preston, but in the league, Newcastle away next weekend is going to be tough. Inter away in the Champions League is going to be tough, and Chelsea will be a difficult proposition away from home. We got 3 tough away games coming, Tony.
Isn't he supposed to come back in November though? After our next
He'll
break
come back
in
in November. You might see a couple of substitutes from him toward the end of the month. But Tony, what was your Don Juan man in the match? And then we'll talk about Preston and a couple of other things before we get out here in about 20 minutes, hopefully.
I thought, to me, the 2 players that played the best were Saka and our Belgian there. I thought Trossard was making good passes. It's like Havertz was scared of when the ball gets to him. When it's a good pass, he doesn't seem to know what to do with it. But overall, you have to give it to Saka because he had the intent on that goal and it went in where he wanted it to.
So you go for Bukayo Saka?
Yeah.
Gary, man of the match?
Man of the match for me. Oof. No, yeah.
We might have 4 different answers here.
Yeah, no, I felt like I need to watch it again because, like I told you, I felt like this was an all-around game.
So Gary's not voting.
You can go last if you want.
Let me go last.
All right, I'm going to put Jurrien Timber forward, being out injured and having to come in and mark Mohamed Salah, and even through cramp, he told the medical team when he had to come off, because a lot of players would have been like, "I'm okay, I can get through this." So Jurrien Timber held Mo Salah down. Jurrien Timber for me.
The medical team wasn't listening. It was ages, man, before they brought him off, and he was telling them that he needed to come off.
I feel like they did it in time for me.
But both those have because Gabriel kept signaling that he needed to come off, but it was. I think like forever before he came off.
When I look back at this game, I feel like we played really well, and Liverpool were poor, but 2-2. Go, how does that?
I don't think so, Ray. I don't think there's enough in the midfield.
Yeah, I think I would want you to look back on that game, Tony. Stan, what's your man in the match?
For me, I think I really liked what Martinelli did today. It's just a pity that he wasn't able to get an assist or a goal. So I'm going to have to give it to Saka.
Okay. I thought you were going to put Martinelli up, which would have been fine.
I really liked what Martinelli did, but I think for me, Saka edges it. I think both of those were our 2 most sort of dangerous players for most of that game for me. Both of those.
There you go.
I'm going to give it to Saka.
Brownie and I are thinking along the same lines. I think man in the match was a ref. He had a great game.
He definitely controlled. He definitely controlled things.
All right, Gary.
If I go by SoFar score and how they had their their rankings,
you can use Declan
Rice and Moreno basically were the top 2 players for Arsenal today, or actually, Declan Rice and Saka were, and Moreno and Partey were next on the list there. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna go. I like Ray's decision. I think I'm gonna go with Timber. Like if things were quiet for Salah, a lot of that game, and that has to do with a lot of what he brought to the table. All right, so I'm gonna go with that.
And
Stan.
And then yes, when he comes,
it's not a tie.
It's a tie.
Stan, say what Barack would say. Come on, you know what Barack would say. Since I have a final decision here.
You don't have the final decision.
When do you have the final decision?
No, you don't.
I do. It's my award. Tony.
Dude, you
God.
know what? You know what? You know how you're
That's
like
two-thirds
you're a
of my name.
matriarch, man. We gave you the crown, but you got
I'm
no
gonna
power,
change
man.
this to the Gary Don one, man.
Oh,
Oh no, don't change the name to mine.
We
But
can't change it.
All right,
4 years in.
no. But you know
they
what?
share it. They share it.
Tony, it's a crown, but it comes with no power. All right, my man.
Yeah, it's my award. You
It's
know that
mine.
say? You know
It's
that
all
say
mine.
it, Stan?
What?
You know they say it doesn't matter. Come on,
It
give
doesn't
us your
matter.
best for us. Oh, you know they do rock.
Yeah.
Pity on you, Stan.
All right, so we've got to we have to limit this damage that's been done now. 9 points dropped over the course of 9 games. Not good. We're averaging 2 points a game, and now as we go into really tough November, December, getting injuries back, we got to start winning games now. Unfortunately,
Ray, there's a question there by AFC Always. He says, you can't keep blaming referees or officials for us not winning. It's excuses. What do you think to that?
I think
Or
every game starts 0-0 or 0-0, and the referees are making it so there's at least a half point in the opposition's favor. And I think, can you tell me, Craig, that every game is officiated without bias and they're not manipulating the results or favoring one team or the other? This was blatant. If you watch it back in the second half, it was pretty blatant. So yeah, I think you can keep blaming officials. Otherwise, you have to score three clean goals, clean, perfect, indisputable goals. Tony,
You don't think we left a couple of
Dreamers.
goals on? You don't think we left a couple goals on the pitch in the first half, right?
every team leaves a couple of goals on the pitch. Let the game play and let it be officiated correctly, in my opinion.
I
Again.
still think we started off like we do in the second half, way too defensive.
Listen, Craig, you can let it happen once or twice. Declan Rice is once sending off. Leandro Trossard is twice sending off. Those are two things you might see. We might have seen 50 times this season from other teams. Kicking the ball away constantly. Oh, but it's okay. They were just passing it back to the real point of where the free is. No. Look, and we have to be, maybe we are being ref differently. We have to be beyond reproach. But I'm sorry. No, Reddy, you're right. We did not lose to Bournemouth because of the referee. Have I mentioned Bournemouth? No, I mentioned Man City and I mentioned Declan Rice. William Saliba had a choice to make, and he chose to pull a player down or pull on his shoulder. And that player is going to go down and make the referee make a decision.
It was a red card, right?
I've said
however,
our Bournemouth performance was horrible. Like
I would say
season.
though, right, that with the William Saliba one, the ref on the pitch made a decision, and then he was influenced by VAR to rethink his decision, and then later on at Liverpool and was it Liverpool and Chelsea?
Yep.
Similar incident. The ref made his decision. VAR chose not to get involved in any way to influence the referee. That's what I find. It's not, that's not consistent. I thought VAR was supposed to only get involved in clear and obvious stuff as well. I didn't even think that warranted VAR getting involved in it.
When a referee makes a decision like
Wasn't
that,
it clear and obvious?
and then again, we don't even know because we don't hear the audio. But you like to think at some point an official goes, "I saw all the contact you did. This is what we're going with," and then and then if he says something to the VAR, VAR is like, "Well, no, you didn't. What you're saying doesn't match with this."
The yellow card at Bournemouth should have been just a yellow card because the referee made a subjective decision.
Yeah,
it's not crystal clear that it was a mistake.
You look up a player's body language, he knew it was a red. It was a red card.
You know why, Tony? Because he plays for Arsenal,
It
and
was a red card, Ray.
he saw what happened.
What does
when
that
they
have to
entered
do?
last
You don't make your decisions on players' actions and reactions,
At
Tony.
least the referee does
Reactions,
what
I
they
mean.
should do. He went and looked at the fucking monitor. That's what they should do all the time. I don't have a
Well,
problem with
that's
it.
what Ray's saying. They didn't go and do. I'm sorry, Stan said they didn't do that in the Liverpool match. Why?
That's
It's not
inconsistent.
consistent. It's not consistent.
You know what I mean?
If you listen to the announcers, it's because of where Rhea was. Rhea
Nah.
was too far out from the goal.
You know what? I don't get how if you're behind the ball and you're off to the side, like you can make the same judgment and say, "Guess what? I know he's going to make it there." Or guess what? I know he's not going to make it there. That's where the rule makes no sense. Either it's a straight red or it's not. Not I have to look at all the other variables. Is he the last man? Yes. Okay, who care? You know what I mean? Is he not the last man? That should be the only thing that matters. All right.
If
Like
that
if you're
yellow had
behind the
stood,
play, if you're behind the play, I don't know how that counts as you can make up the difference as opposed to you can cut somebody off at the angle. All right. They're both subjective calls being made hopefully only by the referee and not by VAR.
if that had stayed stood as a yellow and VAR hadn't got involved, nobody would have been up in arms calling for why didn't VAR get involved? Why wasn't it a red? Nobody would have. People, I don't think, on either side would have made a big fuss about that.
It would have been,
You know?
yeah.
It wasn't clear and obvious.
Definitely.
Also, as well, you know, in a similar situation when it was, I think it was it Konza on Saka? In a similar situation in a previous season.
Yeah.
And Dermot Gallagher came out and said that the reason that it wasn't a red was because Saka was too far away from the goal. Distance played a part in the decision making. But distance didn't play a part in the decision making against Saliba because, again, they were quite far away from the goal area, miles away, acres. So, again, that's another example where they give you a reason why a player isn't penalised for doing it to an Arsenal player. They give you the reason, this is the reason why, and they go, okay. And then you see the same thing happen to us, and that reason is not applied. Why is that? Why? They came out and said the reason why with the other one, but when it's us, no, they don't apply that. That's shady. That is shady, and it's inconsistent. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Not at this level.
And Craig says, I hear what you're saying, I really do, but why can we as fans blame the team for not getting the job done by winning when we should? We have criticized the team for not being efficient. I did it today, for not being efficient enough. We have to score a third clean goal.
We look at everything on this show. We complain about the players not being clinical. We complain about the referees not giving us calls. We complain about being more defensive in the second half. We complain about not making changes in anything that we did in the second half until too late. You know, so I think we blame the players and the team and the manager and the referees all in this game. And it might sound like we're screaming at the ref most of the time, but I believe, you know, we've talked about pretty much everything that went wrong for us in that second half, and not all of it was the referee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we know
it should have been over in the first half because there's between Martinelli,
Liverpool as well. I mean, they're a decent team.
Between Martinelli and Kai, we should at least had the 2 more goals there.
Go ahead, Stan.
I'm just saying, you know, we're aware of our shortcomings, just like every other fan is of their team. But what we're saying is, as well as having to deal with that, we've also got this external shit that we're having to deal with on top of it. The inconsistency and the over-reffing that we seem to be getting because it's been brought to their PGMOL's attention, and I keep repeating myself because of the letters that other clubs wrote to them, raising concerns that they feel that we're getting away with stuff, that we're pulling the wool over the referee's eyes, and we're making a mockery out of it.
We created the dark arts.
When situations happen to us, that's why you have the people in the VAR room telling the referee to go to the monitor to take another look because we're being over scrutinized. It's obvious. It's not a conspiracy theory. If they're going to write
how-
letters to the BBL
Reality.
about you, it's obvious that they're going to be watching you. It's as simple as that. It don't have to be fucking Einstein to work it out. It's not a maths equation. It's simple. Complaints were made, concerns were raised. We're under the spotlight. That's not a conspiracy theory. You don't have to be fucking Sherlock Holmes to work it out.
So,
Yeah.
so
It's just the way it is.
how do you solve it, Stan? Do you go back to amateur refs or do you go to the foreign refs?
Easy
Why can't we have the best
accountability.
in class? Get the
Accountability.
best in class. It's supposed to be the best league with the best players, the best wage
Yeah.
structure, the best, the best global reach, the best presentation of the product. Why don't we have the best officials? They're out there. They come from other countries. Just pay them. Have the best in class, because the ones that we've
right.
got at the moment
Yeah.
are not doing as good as they
So
could
I'm
be.
going to ask a question then, based off what you're saying, Stan, and I think we all agree we need the best refereeing set of referees for the best product in the world. Riddy said, Ray, we absolutely need to win a trophy this season. Will the officials allow us to win a trophy?
Exactly.
Will they allow us to
that's
get to
where
a
it is.
final of a
That's how I
Carabao
feel about
Cup?
it. That's how I feel about it. When that scruffy goal went in for the third goal, I said, all right, it's all scruffy. It's not clean enough. They're going to look at it. There's going to be scrutiny. There's going to be a problem. Sure enough, it got chalked off. Wasn't clean enough. We've got to score goals that are 25-yard screamers outside of the box with no interference. They're the only goals we can score now because everything's
You
being
know
looked
what's
at.
curious?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, you would have to think the VAR team agreed with Anthony Taylor for that foul at the end of the game.
Yeah, they
There
didn't
was
tell him to go and look
no-
at it again. They just went with his
there was
decision. They
no-
allowed him to make his decision, unlike the ref that made his decision, who sent
No,
off
but they're
Saliba.
gonna say he made
mean-
that call before the goal. That's what they're
Yeah,
gonna
he made the
say.
call
So,
before the goal. Yeah,
so then VAR can't really get involved,
involved.
right? Because the play's dead. When he makes the call. So I kind of feel like that's what they would say, even though we know that's not true because, they can go back and
Right.
review things all the way through. Like anytime a goal is scored, they can go back before any time and say, you know what, is any of this gonna nullify this goal? So.
Gonna go through a few starred comments. I put up Saka had Robertson on toes today,
Yeah.
for sure. He did to Robertson what Mo Salah did to Zinchenko last season. And can we, because Saka world class? I think so. I think we're going to talk about him in those
He
terms.
needs to, as some people said, he needs to be able to. We need to see his armpits.
Ray.
Yeah.
If you sit there and you listen to the commentary, because they're over on top of the refs, they actually get to hear what's
I hear
being
it.
talked
Yeah.
You hear, they get to know what's going on with the reviews of the VAR. And
But
the fans do not at all know what they're looking at.
But they're also responsible to convey that in a responsible manner. Like they're not going to say
They are selective when they will say
They are.
something because
Mhm.
we've heard them say multiple times kind of the process that's going on, and then there'll be times where they don't want to say a word because guess what? It will be controversial. But guess what? It's not controversial. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it's not on them. If they're going to give us some of those background chats in their commentary, then give us all of it because it doesn't. They hold back when they want to. They know better. They know when to hold back, right? So they're being selective with it. I'd rather them not say a damn thing. Either you're
Yeah.
going to tell me every time you hear it because they're hearing it all on every play. So on that particular play, like we're now finding out that the Moreno foul was because the defender supposedly won the ball, and if you look at the video, he didn't. So
No.
what were they saying?
Yeah.
Did they really and truly look at the
Stan-
video, or did they make a guess? I think they're
Yeah.
guessing.
Just 1 second there, Stan. I'll give you a chance to get out of here. You got to go.
Yeah, I got to go. So it's good to be on and talk with the three of you and everybody in the chat box. Enjoy the rest of the show. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll
Thanks,
see
man.
you guys on Thursday.
Yep.
Take
See
care,
you later.
everybody.
All right, have a good week.
We'll finish up for a few more minutes. Definitely right, Gary. I think that's a legitimate goal, if I'm being honest. A legitimate challenge, let's say. If Gabriel and Timber stay on, we win the game. It's unfortunate, but I would have taken a draw before the game. And that's I mean, with the injuries, you're thinking would have taken a draw. Who was our guys' man in the match? Partey and Martinelli were great from Michael. We put Timber and Saka up. It's a 50-50 shout, Tony. I hope Arteta takes Preston seriously and don't throw away another trophy. Let's talk about Preston real quick. After the Preston game, Newcastle away, Chelsea away, Inter as well. That's a tough week in November after Preston. So I'd like to maybe rest some legs, but also get through the Preston game. So Mikel Arteta's got to play. Got to get some people on the treatment table for sure, and some injuries taken care of, and people rest up. But have enough to get through the Preston game away from home.
But wasn't that a little bit too much of a gamble starting Timber when he hasn't been playing?
It was a gamble, Tony, but you're playing Liverpool at home in a game where you have to close the gap on them because they're 4 points ahead of you, and you have a sending off that takes Saliba out of the picture, and you've got injuries to Tomiyasu and other players at the back. So it's definitely a gamble where you have to play Ben White, and I think Ben White had a fine game as well in the middle of the fence, marshalling Kivior and all of the other players that had to go in and out.
What is your answer to not playing Timber, Tony? And if you say Zinchenko, then why? Then we know what the scoreline would have been. So tell
Kivior
me.
Kivior is
I would have started Kivior.
He loves Kivior. Kivior is the new Callum Chambers.
Kivior didn't. Ray, did Kivior do anything bad enough where we needed to go spend another
do you remember what happened in the Bournemouth game? Can you tell me what happened in the? No. Just tell me what happened in the Bournemouth game.
Yes.
How was Kyrgios's performance in the Bournemouth game?
Yeah.
Tell me that. Can you go ahead? Tell me.
They're gonna make mistakes when you don't play all the time.
That's on Arteta, right? So you're blaming Arteta, and that's why if you're gonna, Arteta is gonna lean on the better answer, and the better answer was Timber at 70%. And the whole problem with it, like if you're gonna play him, I get it. No, but if you're gonna play him, but if you're gonna play him and you know he can't give you 90 minutes, then he should be coming off at 60 minutes. You know what I mean? Like if Saka can't give you 90 minutes, then he should be coming off to let the next player come on and actually give you some substantial minutes. So either one, they can get into the game, and two, they can see it out, as opposed to trying to see it out coming fresh off the bench. That's kind of how I feel.
Craig's got a question about VAR. I don't think the tool, the technology is. I don't think the technology is the problem. I think it's the people operating the technology. And what you've done is you've taken the game out of one person's hands in the middle of the field and two linesmen, and you've taken it into much more divided opinion in terms of what they're seeing on the field. And the people in the VAR team are influencing the referee as well on the field. Like they never show you the full. They never show the referees by the sideline the full sequence. Like I would roll it back to 2 or 3 seconds before the incident and play the whole thing, and don't tell them I'm going to show you the angle that I think you want to see the best. That's ridiculous. I think the way they are implementing VAR is incorrect. The actual technology is good, Tony.
But shouldn't it be like last week where they actually go look at the monitor with Saliba?
Right, but I'm saying they go to the monitor, but the VAR team are queuing up a certain angle. Like the Wolves game with Bernardo Silva. They queued up a certain angle to make it. Maybe I think it's deliberate. You know what I mean?
You know what? The thing is, the referee is supposed. If you want the referee to make a decision, then there's nothing you can do as a VAR operator. You shouldn't be you shouldn't have to say anything except for queue up the video. That's it. And then, as you say, look at all the angles, because it's not just one angle. Like when they looked at in the Newcastle game, supposedly they looked at all these different angles before they made a decision. All right. So then,
The
do they need to do
referee.
that consistently on all of them? Like, if you see a tackle and you think the player won the ball, right? When in reality, that shouldn't even be called by VAR. Like VAR shouldn't say, "I think he won the ball." You know, if the referee says, "I think he won it," that's
Mhm.
one thing. And if you can, and then VAR, you look at it and you go, "I don't see it." You say it into your head, and then you go, "I think you should look at VAR." You know, based on what you just said, then that's where I think it comes into play, because that's the only way it can be clear and obvious is if the referee tells you what he saw, right? That's the only way this thing works. That's why they're communicating consistently throughout that time period,
And
right?
the ref needs to be in control. The
Yeah.
referee should be asking VAR team what he wants to see. You know, I want to see this angle.
No, they
Show
just
me.
need to see all the angles.
Yeah,
What's the point of
But
like
that
one
that
angle over
that
another? No, he needs to see all the angles so he can make the best judgment one based on what he
but
sees,
that's the
as opposed
problem.
to because he's making a decision based on where he is on the pitch at that particular point in time,
You-
and his assumption is wrong. That's why you're going to VAR. All right, not clear.
but Ray and Gary, you got all these cameras. But have you ever seen more than two angles shown on that monitor?
correct.
No.
No,
I've never seen
Did
more
they
than
actually
two.
show us the? Did they show us all the whole entire sequence of videos that they do?
I'm just
I bet
thinking
they
about
do.
the
It seems like they
Man
just
City
stick
goal.
with one and play it over and over again for the
I
most
don't.
part.
I feel like we don't see any of them. I don't think we see the videos that
Enough.
they see. That's what
We
I
don't
don't.
see
That's what I
movement.
think. I
Yeah,
think we hear the audios, but I don't think we see the videos that are being checked.
yeah.
You know, on
All
the
right.
screen.
I think I got to go in about 15 minutes, but we'll
Okay.
spend that time for the remaining topics here.
Yep.
Even if Gabriel and Timber stayed on, I don't think we would have gone on to win the game. How can you win a football match when you're sitting back for the whole second half? So I would urge you to think about the officials as well, Craig, and maybe look at the second half again.
I'll be
Uh,
hard pressed to think that goal happens if Gabrielle and Timber are on that back line.
That too. Yeah,
I think I do believe if
they got nothing.
if you know they got nothing for most of the game. I don't think it would have changed it in that happened in the last 10 minutes of the game, right? So I
And
do believe it would have made a difference if we had our 11, if we had the starting 11 on the pitch, but I also think we needed to sub as well. So
yeah, we had a situation where we were stretching Saka and Timber to make this game, and I know Stan said earlier, why are we subbing Bukayo Saka after 85 minutes? Well, we probably pushed him. We probably pushed him past the point of where he needed to be, and he's not going to make the Preston game. He'll be back for Newcastle, but it will have taken a toll out of him as well. But I do think you got to look, Craig, you got to look at the game with the official as well. And Arsenal didn't help their own case, but the official tilted the mechanism for tilting the pitch. It actually went that way. You know what I mean? Isn't Saka, for his age, is the first Arsenal player to score
he
50
means the
goals?
earliest, and that's Saka is the 7th fastest player to score 50 goals in Premier League. So
Right.
yeah, so he's
Wow.
definitely number one for Arsenal in terms of
And the youngest.
Yeah,
as
well,
well.
sorry, the youngest. Sorry, that's what I meant. So the
Yeah,
earliest
yeah.
meaning in their career. So yeah, so he's the 7th on that list. I just was looking that up. So yeah,
World class is something we need to find, but for everyone, it's got a slightly different meaning. But I would put whatever conversation you're having, I would put Bukayo Saka in that
you
conversation.
have all these people say he's a generational talent.
Yeah.
If you say that, then he's world class. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how you can be world class as your generational talent, because I think, I think, what's his
Newcastle
name? Jack.
away.
I think Jack Wilshere would have been considered world class, but he hadn't won anything at that point, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, some
think
Jack Wilshere, some performances you would think that, but Bukayo Saka is doing it He's starting to do it every year now, Gary.
Yeah,
for the last few
I
years.
just think he needs to win something to seal it. I think,
Yeah.
like you said, if he does it for 10 years, then yeah, he's world class. But I rather he shouldn't have to wait 10 years to seal that to seal that kind of that kind of recognition. I think he should
No.
be able to get his team
Um,
across the line at least once or twice in terms of getting them to a trophy
so a typical,
one of the top players in his team, much less
yeah,
in world football.
talisman. So the talisman for Arsenal made the mark today with Bukayo Saka scoring on Robertson. Liverpool fans will be left to rue that decision to leave Robertson on Bukayo Saka, much like we would have done with Zinchenko and Mo Salah. Mo Salah had his say today also. Virgil van Dijk scoring and a debut goal from Mikel Mourinho as well.
Yeah, their
So,
world class players scored today, and our best player scored today, right? But we needed our second best player, some would say, in terms of attack to score today, and that's Havertz, right?
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
thought Havertz had a decent game.
yeah, but
I didn't.
he needs GA. He needs
I don't
GA.
know.
Like I said, his receipts need to come with a GA.
How many times did you hear his name called? Right? He didn't do much.
Yeah, but I think he occupied Konate
But that's
and
the
Virgil van
problem.
Dijk.
Yes, this is you do all the extra stuff that Arteta wants is good, but you also have to. That's like saying a goalkeeper didn't make any saves, but we won nil because they never got a shot off. No, at some point you make those
Marino.
saves, right? You make that stop, right? You make the interception and all that kind of stuff, right? So I
Yeah.
feel as our 9 center forward, whatever you want to call him, he has to it has to come with goals and assists. It has to. It's just part of
So
the job. It's not.
we're on 18 points. Liverpool are on 22 and City are on 23. So I feel like this weekend, the three teams here separated away from Brighton, Chelsea. Although they're there, Chelsea are there, right? I think the separation is starting to happen. Michael says he thinks the league is going to be really competitive this year, and that's why I don't think we're out of this. The league will be competitive this year, and the winning points total could be in the 80s, could be in the high 80s.
I don't think we have enough on the bench, right?
Not yet. I mean, we have to get players back, Tony, as well. And we're in a period of the season where we've come out of a summer tournament, got through a really difficult period the first couple months, and this was supposed to be a little bit easier, Bournemouth and Liverpool. But now we go again into November, which is going to be tough. Saka
Yeah,
will
but
be
we-
world class at another
But,
football
but guess
club
what
because
happens
he
in
ain't
2
winning
weeks,
major.
right?
What?
Guess what happens in 2 weeks?
What happens in a few weeks?
Uh,
International break.
we going away for another fucking 2
Why
weeks.
did Jesus get the armband instead of giving it to Rice? I think it was just expediency, maybe.
What the fuck? Why
right.
the fuck do you come back for 2 weeks?
Who do we?
Then in 2 weeks, you're
It is
gone
what
for
it is,
another
Tony.
2 weeks.
It's more than 2 weeks, right? I
It
mean, we're
is what
talking
it is.
about the break starts on the 10th of November, right? Still got 4 games to play, right? So it's going to be more than 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks
Gary,
from
what do
now,
you want to see?
yeah,
What do you want to see at Preston, Gary?
3-0, 3-goal, at least a 3-goal win.
Sure.
That's
I'm right
at least
behind that.
that's at least what I want to see. I don't care if it's 5-2,
What about the
3-1,
lineup? What kind of
4-1.
players? I'm not going to ask you
And
for a
where
lineup.
he's going to start, Skelly should start.
MLS.
Gabriel
and
shouldn't play. Let him rest and get an extra couple of days before we go. Do we go away? We go away to Inter, right?
well, Gabriel.
No, until we
I-
play Newcastle, right?
Do we know what kind of injury Gabriel has?
We
It's too
don't know
early.
yet.
Knee.
He had he had ice on the knee. Yeah.
Knee.
If you watch it, right, it's nothing to do with the contact. When he lands, his leg just kind of flops around.
Gives out on him.
So,
Yeah.
Wow.
So Partey probably will have to play right back, maybe 1 or 2 more games, depending on the healing process, right? So
Jorginho? Bring Jorginho in?
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to say earlier.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
That's it. Yeah, we keep because Arteta doesn't use them. We're like,
Jorginho is kind of like Zinchenko and Tierney doesn't exist.
Sterling,
Tomiyasu.
Jesus.
Arteta gets a little bit lost in like his squad sometimes because he some plays go bit of Whiteside. Like Like Jorginho probably could have come on today and hold on to the lead and maybe shore things up in the middle.
Do you know what I want to see against Preston,
Who?
Ray?
What?
Saka not on the team sheet.
Listen, I don't. So I think we stretched Saka today. He's definitely not playing midweek.
He'll be there though. He'll be
I
in
don't
the
think
lineup.
so. I think he'll be staying home. Honestly, who do we want to partner Saliba? Because we're going to have to look at who's going to partner Saliba.
Ben White again.
Left in the left.
Ben White and Saliba will play.
Okay, and the fullbacks.
I mean, if he trusts Kyrgios, then yeah, but he needs to
Well, Miles Lewis Skelly should play, right?
I think so. Yes.
So who's your right back? Who's going to be right back? Partey again?
I'm saying Partey right now.
Okay. Well, we're going to need Partey at Newcastle.
He's pushing the limits.
I would go with Kivior. I think putting Kivior, Partey can come out. I'd go White, Saliba, Kivior, Miles Lewis, Kelly. So reconstruct that left side a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. You go Skelly, Kivior, Saliba, and White.
One final thing before we get out of here, and it's sort of related to the Champions League. Stan as maybe saying, we're not going to forget about the Premier League, but if it's going to be difficult to win the Premier League, should we concentrate a little bit more on the Champions League? What does it look like?
What? No. I'm not. I don't like that talk.
I know you don't.
You can't. We can't. 1 minute we keep saying we can't just like focus on just one thing, and next thing we're like, should we focus on one thing? It's like, no, you have to win. You know what? No team goes out there, takes their foot off the gas, and is able to put it back on. No team does it. You play to win every game. You just rotate your staff, but your goal always is to win every game you play.
We have a better chance in Europe than the Premier League.
No, you try to win every game. Who cares? Try to win every game. No, the mentality can't be, we're just going to try to win these ones over that one. No, you try to win every one. That's why you have a squad. I don't like that. The thinking kills any kind of progress in getting the squad ready.
Okay. I hear that, Gary. I hear that. Tony?
You have seen where we're at in the table, right?
Yeah, we're third.
We're ninth.
Okay. The other table. Yeah.
What table?
That table matters on what? Goals scored.
It matters on goals scored, but we have to be in the top 8.
We played two teams that are ahead of us. We win both those games, we will jump at least 2 spots up in the table.
And Liverpool have to play Madrid and teams like that.
I'm just saying there's 2 teams ahead of us that we play. Head to head, we win, we move up. Yes, it's going to look ugly. Maybe we finish 6th or 7th because of that. But we need to just keep winning. All right.
Did you see?
I think
the El Clasico. Did you see the highlights or the El Clasico? The standard in Europe will be Real Madrid and Barcelona, maybe. Tony?
It's weird because Barcelona wasn't doing that good in the league. They hadn't looked that good, and then they just.
But now,
I don't know if Madrid kind of just outdid themselves in that second half, so they were gassed after Tuesday.
Mbappe, I think he will eventually settle, but it's becoming a thing for him at Real Madrid. He hasn't quite hit his stride.
He's world class, right?
Yeah.
It should happen really smoothly. It shouldn't be any rough. It shouldn't be that rough to acclimate him into that squad, and it is. So that's on basically the way they're being coached, I believe. All right. I mean, you got to figure out a way. And as somebody said, I was listening to, I listened to some people. Are they actually sacrificing for the betterment of the squad, or are they playing individually out there? You know what I mean? Like the man had 7, 8 offsides. Was that what?
Yeah.
How do you have that? How do you have that many offsides? Is that because after the first one? After the first one, maybe you need to figure
Yeah.
out what you did quickly so it doesn't happen.
Well,
But you do to do it another 7 times.
it's a
So
two-way thing, right? The forward needs to think
8
about that,
times at some point it's got to be on the forward. 8 times.
but the player has to also be quicker with the ball. It's a
Yes, but if
two-way.
after 8 times isn't like you've already established after the second time, I'm going too soon. Maybe I need to wait and let them figure
Yes,
this thing out because it's going to come later.
there is that, and
Maybe
there's
I
the
need to get
other.
a little bit
Yeah.
closer to the defender. So maybe instead of going behind them, I can cut in front of them because the pass is coming. It's coming late, right?
Tony loves through balls.
Gary, if it happens 8 times, I think you forgot your contacts or something to screw up that many times.
Contacts. Your contacts have fell on the grass somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, something's wrong with your vision if you're running off.
My one other thing I want to say about this game today, I think Liverpool fans will be ecstatic getting a point at the Emirates. They hadn't got it in 2 years. We are unbeaten against them in the league in 5 games now, but they haven't been able to beat us at the Emirates, and with all of our injuries, you go into your next podcast saying these things. They couldn't beat us. Because even with everything that was going on with us, they couldn't beat us. But they'll be ecstatic about it. If Arteta starts Saka against Preston, it's sackable offence. Arteta should never have started Saka in the last League Cup game. Surely we can all agree on that. Yes, absolutely. I feel confident we'll be talking Thursday night without the kind of Saka being mentioned.
Ethan needs to play in that
Yes,
8 or whatever it is. So that's where he should be playing
the
when
Odegaard role. Yeah,
exactly. So that's
right.
what should happen. And then you have Sterling, you have Jesus. Give them their minutes. All right. Martinelli probably will have to start because of that. Yeah. And then we'll see how that goes. Right. And then you're gonna if Jorginho plays, voila. I don't know about Moreno or Rice. Pick one of them. Pick one of those two. Right. And then your back line is. I guess I kind of agree with you guys that and where QER maybe gets to start, and if Partey can rest, meaning or just come off the bench, so be it. But yeah, we're gonna have to.
If Calafiori's injured, Kivior is the next best candidate to partner Saliba. Yeah. In my opinion, if Gabriel,
well, he's not the next best. He would be the next man up because the next best is actually Ben White. But
well, if you like a left and a right,
Well, we've
left foot and a right foot.
Right. We've never seen Calafiori as a center back, so we have no idea. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? And if Nweri's anything, then maybe he won't because he doesn't have confidence, and that's the inconsistency you get with Arteta sometimes. You're like, why do you do it here and then there you don't?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, it's got to be the same.
I feel confident in that kid, Gary. He's shown us enough now to give him the reins to play.
Yeah, but the problem is he's shown us enough, right? But he hasn't shown Mr. Lego Man enough.
Now, saying that, I believe Trossard had a good game. Liverpool fans have been raving about Gravenberch, and he did. Their midfield was overrun by us today.
But that's the thing. I thought he was getting the ball to Martinelli, but Martinelli wasn't doing anything.
I'm telling you.
Then Kai had the ball plenty of opportunities too.
Have a chance. I know, Gary, you'll watch the game. You watch most games back. Please watch the second half after about 50 minutes and 55 minutes onwards. The referee gave us absolutely nothing at all.
Right. You need to do what Gary said and see during that same time how much we were just laying back, playing defense.
Yeah.
And not
I think
us to that position.
I think naturally that happens. The Liverpool manager would have told them to go on the front foot, and naturally you want to defend what you have as a 2-1. And it wasn't helpful with Gabriel getting injured as well, having that injury. It was not helpful. A little bit like the Brighton game where we had a sending off and we were lost for 10 or 15 minutes. It didn't look as bad for us defensively, but at the end we got caught out by Trent Alexander Nunez and Salah.
I thought Arteta was way too cocky with a back four that hadn't played together to start
Uh,
that way in the second half.
yeah, Craig. No, you're not. We understand you. This is your opinion. Right? I don't come into the comments be nasty or toxic. Like I said, it's just my opinion, like everyone else
No,
has
I
here.
think we're having. I believe we're having a
We're
constructive,
having
a constructive conversation
conversation.
going back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Everybody has their own say, and everybody, So
There's
yeah, I don't.
nothing toxic.
Yeah, no, I think we're just we can see things differently, and
Yeah.
I think that's all it is. Yeah.
Dude, some people watching this, Gary and Tony, and my take on the referee. Some people watching this might think I'm crazy. Now I've gone full circle on this official thing, but
I think you've spent. I think since last week, right? It was just you and Stan.
I tell you what, Tony, I put a tweet out today saying, there's only two good referees left, and Anthony Taylor was one of them, and Michael Oliver, I believe, is the other one. But when Anthony Taylor starts, in my opinion, tilting the pitch in Liverpool's favor, that was a completely manipulated result at the end of the day. Arsenal should have ran
I
out.
think so.
That goal should have stood, and if we should have won 3-2, or we should have won 3-1 today.
Right. How many goals have we had in that first half?
I think maybe we could have had a third goal. We could have gone in at halftime 3-1 up. But real quick, want to get out of here because I got to go. But Gary, let's not talk about the group, and Tony, let's not talk about the group games in the Champions League, but just in general, does Real Madrid or Barcelona scare us if we face them in the spring in the Champions League and knockout stages?
I mean, I think, I think Barcelona their attack is scary. All right, I think, yeah. So that, yeah, same. I think, yeah, and in Real Madrid, they can click at any moment. So I kind of felt like everybody thinks that Champions League Real Madrid will turn it on when they need to, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think nobody's too concerned about that. In the league, it's a different story for Real Madrid and Barcelona. They kind of, at least now lately, have been switching. It's two different animals. But I kind of felt like Real Madrid in Champions League, that's going to be a team to be concerned about, along with City and Liverpool. All right, and I think those would be the biggest threats right now. If you're going to come up against one of them in the knockout rounds, then you're going to have to knock out a potential winner of the trophy. So I kind of feel that's where that goes right now. At least that's in my side of things. Barcelona, I think, is still young, so I think, yes, they look good today, but I don't know if they've been that consistent. So,
Yeah.
they're gonna be learning. They're learning how to play this football, the football that they want to play, and we'll see if it's consistent.
One thing I will say to Craig is, if you're respectful and you put your opinion out there respectfully, I think that should be respected. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. You can disagree with Arteta as long as you put a good point across and are able to back it up with some things. But also, it's your opinion. You know what I mean?
Are you sure we could talk about your uncle, Ray?
Yes, you won't get banished, Tony.
And me, Madrid and Barcelona will be terrifying if you don't have Gabriel
and I
for the
think,
rest of the season.
yeah,
You think he's gone for the rest of the season all
I
of a
don't
sudden?
think so. No.
I think what's that knee bounce off?
You
the
think
ground?
he's gone for the rest of the season?
He could be.
Okay.
There was a season where Virgil van Dijk was out for the rest of the season, and they dropped to third or fourth in the league.
Yeah.
It happens. Injuries always play a part in your season. I would love Arsenal to demonstrate the ambition and go and get Gyökeres in January, and we could start boosting. There will be a point this season where we start scoring goals like we did in February and March of this year, and we'll start trucking again. You know.
I feel really confident about one thing, Ray. We had the prediction show,
Yeah.
and one of the questions was, will Arsenal score 6 goals in a game? And if you shake that magic 8 ball, it would say not very fucking likely.
I know, but there is still teams like Southampton and Ipswich. We haven't hit our stride yet. But I feel like
Preston's one of those
we
teams that
this season.
Preston should be one of those teams, right?
Yeah. All right. Gary, thank you for being here as always. We'll have a show tomorrow, hopefully.
He's not here always. Sometimes he's in the West Coast, right?
You and Tony will
So sometimes he's in.
we'll
sometimes
fight it
he's
out
in
again
London.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. We'll be
and
back
Tony?
on tomorrow. I think is it early now? Because I think they roll back the clock. So I think it's
There's a
probably
4-hour difference now.
So it's 11:30 now for you guys across the pond. And,
It's 9. It's 9 p.m.
Well,
right
no,
now.
I mean when my show is on. Ray.
Yeah. Okay.
My show is on 11:30.
7:30,
So,
11:30. Yeah, it actually will help them, Gary.
Yeah, so I might get more people to show up.
And
yeah.
on Thursday Night Forum, the same thing will be. You'll get an extra hour in. Tony.
For 2 more fucking weeks.
Tony. I'll read
Fucking
the
George Bush. George Bush.
All right.
Terrible.
Thanks, guys. We're out of here. I got to shoot. Take care of yourselves. Disappointing draw today, but Arsenal
Ray's going through Cheeto with
Arsenal put everything into it. Take care, and we'll see you. We'll see you with Gary tomorrow and the Thursday Night Forum on Thursday. Take care.